where you can get it, wind. And so their strategy is to, and I said, well, that's kind of a green story, right? And he said, no, no, it isn't. When you actually, the reason we do that is a better economics on power, right? Because it's very hard to get below, what BitZero has is sub 6 cents a kilowatt hour. That's unheard of. It's almost impossible to get anywhere stateside or in Canada. Alberta, maybe you can pull it off, maybe. It hasn't been proven yet, but I think it will be. There's a lot of interest. You know, for example, Canada, Manitoba is saying, well, you know, we're going to shut down all data centers, not understanding why would you do that, because they have a lot of hydro. But Alberta is trying to get people to come up and build there, and makes sense because Canada's under great stress to find new business. I mean, you know, our GDP is negative. And I'm not blaming that on Carney. I'm blaming it on the idiot king. But, you know, he did a lot of damage for, you know, for 10 years with policy that shut down everything, and now we're suffering with negative GDP. By the way, just on a side note, I have this company, you'll like this, called Hello Prenup, which is a Shark Tank deal. And you got to hear this. So they issue prenups online. It's a fantastic service. It's growing like a weed. So I, on behalf of the company, offered to Katy Perry a free prenup because she's going to need it. Kevin, everything that guy touches goes to zero.
I was going to say when you mentioned that, I was going to bring up Katy Perry, and maybe him and her can stop holding hands there at Coachella. Were you at Coachella by any chance there?
No, I went to the Knicks game here in New York. It was
I was going to ask you. I was talking about that yesterday, and I heard that people didn't even leave the arena for 20,
No, but you know, the New York, I'm in New York right now, partly to attend, you know, this stuff, and there's a huge conference tomorrow on exactly this topic. I'm doing one of the keynotes at it on, you know, allocating for this next 12 months on tech and crypto and quantum computing and quant trading, all of this, it's all converging. And everybody, there's government's going to be there because there's a vibe in Washington that they're going to get this Clarity Act done. And you want to be ready for that, because I'll tell you the biggest opportunity next in crypto is, you know, we've been talking about
stable coins,
blockchain. You know, blockchain, which blockchain is going to work in the SP 500. If you can figure out which one becomes a standard, you want to be long that token. That's going to be the next monster thing in crypto.
Okay, there it is. We got a little.
And you got to be ready for it. But again, dry powder is going to matter too. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of selling. People are gearing up for a lot of things. Kevin, thanks so much. First of all, I have to ask you, like. Are we going to Game 7 and you're going to be there, or is this going to be over?
Game 7, yeah.
Or is this going to be over?
No, predictive markets are still keeping it. I mean, you got to watch the predictive stuff by the minute. I mean, everybody's so interested in this Knicks story, and you know, even there's another trade on this thing. The Knicks cards of their stars.
Oh, okay.
Have been trading for nothing because they haven't won anything in 50 plus years. If they pull this off, the best return is going to be on owning a few of the rookie cards of their lineup, no matter what team they're on. You're going to go from like a $500 card to $500,000. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be insane. I mean, it's speculation, but there's a big market on that people don't know about. These cards, like I've been getting into these sports cards. I can't believe the size, the deal size of $20, $30, $40 million for a card.
Kevin, I saw you were wearing that. You had the Logan Paul there. You got your, what was it, the Jordan, the jersey card, or which one do you have?
Yeah, I'm an investor in that card. We bought it for $12.93 million, just got offered $21 million from a Japanese buyer, or a buyer in Asia somewhere, I think.
Are you ringing the register?
That's from last August to now, so it's a great asset class. But, you know, I know Logan Paul, and I said, where'd you get the chain made? And it, you know, it was some discount jeweler. And I don't do discounts. So I went to the head of Tiffany, said, can you make me a mega chain? I'm talking El Supremo diamonds, the very best, one of a kind on earth. And the head guy at the top of it said to Tiffany, do it. And we built this thing together. And of course, I paired it with the Rolex that had rubies on it. And I took it to the Oscars. It was crazy. And, you know, on top of that, I looked fabulous.
Would you flip that card, or you're looking for a little more than that, or is it a forever hold for you? What do you think about that? From 12 to 21.
I'm in a syndicate with 3 guys that are buying these things, and we bought another 100 and something million since then. And so it's you know how I like index? So we talked about Anthropic and SpaceX.
Right.
I like index. So I don't want everything in one card. And so we mark to market the portfolio every day on Card Ladder, and we're monitoring the ebb and flow of each asset as a prorated amount to what we paid for it. So using sort of a stock analogy to it. And so far, since last August, it's outperformed everything, including my watches, including Bitcoin, including the S&P, including everything.
Here, I'll give you...
I'm having a hard time wanting to sell that one. You know, like, you don't sell your winners, although you think you should. I like this asset class. And then lately, the big auction houses are calling me up saying, hey, when you're rebalancing, we want to be in this business, so let us be your partner.
I'll give you a heads up. Gavin McKenna for the Maple Leafs. He's going to go #1 in the biggest market here, obviously in Canada, in Toronto. That might be something to look out for there, a Gavin McKenna rookie card. Kevin, last time you were here, you sort of dropped and you talked about Marty Supreme and the big screen. What, are you working on anything else here? You can let us know, get us into a little sneak peek. Have you been contacted anything else? I think you did a fantastic job there. So congratulations from everybody here at Trader TV on that, from the small screen to the big screen. You working on anything else?
I am.
Ooh, okay.
I've read a bunch of scripts. I've been offered a bunch of parts. What you learn, because I've never been a scripted actor before, so I've just realized I started at the very top. I had 824 across from Timothy Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow. Hard to do better, and I've noticed, because the scripts I'm getting now are complete shit. And I'm reading this stuff, and I'm saying, the story sucks. This isn't going to be a good movie, no matter how well I perform in it. It's just a bad story. Right. I was telling that to my new agent, the guy that does the scripted stuff. He said, yeah, you're going to get all this crap, and you're going to have to choose wisely. You know, but, you know.
You know what I remember, Kevin, the last time you were on here, you're like, I don't know nothing about scripts, but, you know, I know
now you're
this one.
already.
And now it's like, nah, I'm not reading that one. I'm not reading this one. That's amazing. But anything you want to show us watch-wise here? I still got my Apple Watch on. I'm still just a simple man.
Here in New York, I'm also keynoting that at Philips. And they're going to be bringing to market one of the rarest resonance. This is a resonance right here, an FP Jour, and you've seen that look on a dial. But way back when Jordan had no money, 22 years ago, he made a prototype piece for himself and another one, a total of 7. And this one is serial number 007.
Oh, okay. 007.
And so the vibe on the auction, and everybody's talking, is this will breach the highest price ever, because the only other guy that has one is Jorn.
Himself.
The other 3, nobody knows where they are. So this could be the only one made with platinum and brass and a little bit of gold in it. It's Philips auction. It's going to be on Saturday. I think it breaks 7 million because of the whole 7 vibe, but who knows? This one is one of a kind piece because it has 2 12 dials, which is very, very rare, and my name's on it. And then another Jour in the Elegant. I'm in a Jour mode in New York because of the big auction. Journe, as an asset class in watches, has outperformed everything. Everything.
Well,
Why? Because he's alive. He's a living Picasso. You get one of those watches now, it's going up 40% when he moves on to the big watch in the sky.
Oh, man.
There it is.
No, that's, and you've been early to that game, and we've been talking for a couple, 5, 6 years on the show here with you about watches.
And now you've given everybody the card game as well, so.
Congratulations.
The card game's crazy chicken stuff. It's so much fun, it's insane. And everybody on the street, when I wore that chain at the game, by the way, with a Knicks player in it, oh, man, it was nuts. And it was crazy. It was just, the energy in there. I don't think New Yorkers have ever had a team that finally delivered. These guys haven't won crap for 53 years.
No, they still got one to go.
Well, yeah, the Yankees had a little bit of a run there for a minute.
Well, you know, I think this game will go down in history because if you watch the last 60, 90 seconds, I mean, you couldn't, that's impossible that would happen.
It was back and forth. You had no idea who
it was ridiculous.
Coin toss there.
Ridiculous.
All right, Kevin, thank you for all your time today. It has been absolutely fantastic. You know, you're welcome back at any time. Just let us know. You know. And good luck with Bid Zero. Good luck with all the adventures.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, man. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you, Kevin. Ciao, my friend. All right, man. Oh, all right. Well, I'm out of here. That's good. See.
Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and what a fantastic interview with Kevin O'Leary. Always love hearing what he has to say, especially when it comes down to watches, Joey.
When the watches.
The watches was a nice one there.
Pokemon cards.
Oh.
He's
You
gone.
weren't, you weren't part of that AP craze at the mall? Saw that AP craze?
Did you get one?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you something, my friend. Country club membership over watch, connections over materials, longevity, any day of the week. All right, good morning, everybody. Let's get right down to work. What's up?
Yeah, I could go on
Okay.
all day. Yeah, I'm all right, man. I just
All right.
getting my thought. Yeah, I just got to make
Yeah.
sure I don't swear and say all these obscenities.
Why?
Because
What happened,
sometimes, like,
Joey?
the materialistic aspect of things is how everybody's like, oh, I have this, I have all that. It's like, man, what kind of BS is that stuff?
Well, that's, I mean, why you here then?
Why are you here? Why am I here?
Yeah.
To buy more shares of TKO.
What are you going to do with that?
Pass it on, man.
You're not going to buy anything material, Joey?
No, actually. Invest it more. Dude, do I come across as a materialistic individual?
Because we are living in a material world. And we're going to see it in the back. I don't know.
Thank you. We're just going to go over a few quick updates. I'm going to send it back to the guys. OpenAI has announced a deal to require ONA, which is formerly known as GitPod, which is a privacy-first cloud development platform. This acquisition is designed to boost OpenAI's agent capabilities. Then we had the Senate committee speaking right now about concerns over AI. Speaker Mike Johnson has said that U.S. President Donald Trump has spoken to him less than an hour ago, and he said that U.S. President has informed him that he's close to making a permanent choice for the intelligence director. That's all. Sending it back to the guys.
All right, guys, let's get right down to work. There is a lot moving in the world of small cap gappers, so I'm going to get right down to it here. VELO is absolute rip city. It's in the $30. It's a bit more expensive, but it's got a great structure right now. RACDA, I'm going to call this one RKDA, $1.94 triple top-ish. A lot of resistance into 190, but you're getting all the right recipes here, or the ingredients for the right recipe, correction by me. You're getting that pre-market high takeout. You're on the way to $2. You respected trend on the way up, namely the 10 EMA on the 5. You're getting a retracement now, but this could just be your entry. I like the entry here between 160 to 150. It loses 140, I'm gonzino. RKDA, I'm not in it yet, but definitely considering it. MNTS, this is a repeat offender. It's one that we see a lot on the small cap gapper list and the scanners in the morning, and it is back again today, a bit more expensive than it has been, previously, trading at around 14. I think it was at $20, so maybe we are on a bit of a discount here. In any event, it's been also respectful of trend. We got a bit of a consolidation here between 1045 and 11 at the 1350 area, and there it goes again into the high of the day, 1470 incoming on MNTS, or there it goes. And GELS, GELS, halted to the high side, $1.26. I put on GELS like moments ago, okay? I just put it on. It really wasn't doing much until about, I want to say a quarter to, give or take. Halt time, 11:12:36. So the earliest we'll be open is 11:17:36, with the theoretical auction price showing $1.23. That is 3 pennies lower than we closed. But it's Rip City right now, and this is coming from sub $1. I haven't looked quite yet to find out if GELS is bid non-compliant. You can do your own research. Go ahead and go on to the NASDAQ page, find out if they got the letter from the exchange. Because if they did, then we know what this whole shebang is about. There's more. PGEN looking pretty good off that 454 area coming into 440. This one seems like a bit of a buy program. And the only reason I say that this is a buy program, not the others, is because it's so directional with very little in the way of liquidity. So it's like nobody's standing ahead of, or standing in front, I should say, of the acquirer who's running the buy program right now, accumulating shares. You don't feel like there's too many people standing in front of them. That could change as more eyes come on PGEN. So you got to be alert to this one. We got more, Joey. SPCE, space. Well, I'm shocked. This one is running ahead of the SpaceX IPO. A bit of a head and shoulders pattern forming here. I'd be very alert to a loss of VWAP at around 540. But if this continues doing what it does, and has been doing lately, which is some higher lows, then I get involved here. 576 high day. INDP as well, looking pretty good. I'm pretty sure INDP is an energy play, kind of like Battle. No, I'm wrong. It's the therapeutics play. Completely got that wrong. It does feel, though, like an ascending wedge pattern. Let me make my case to you guys. A plethora of higher lows. You can kind of see that. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to connect the dots. But what I wanted to point out is, look at this flat top here brewing at 340. Sure, it's a 343 high, but nary a print. In fact, none above that 340 area on a closing basis, that is. So INDP putting in a gnarly pattern here. Last one, Joey, PPCB. Okay. You know how I feel about these ones, man, that like you look like they're past their prime. There's a whole lot of resistance for whatever reason between 650 to 680. Let's just say 650 to 675. Let's go ahead and say 625 to 675. Reason is, no closing prints above 625. And the wicks, as you can see, get into 675 area. So I'd be looking for resistance in and around that area. If it clears it and clears it decisively, you know I'm talking about a closing print. Then I'm looking at along here on PPCB, Joseph.
Yeah, PPCB, we were looking at that earlier this morning, guys. All right, let's get right into things. We're going to talk a little bit about Robinhood. Don't pull it up just yet. Assassino, it's all right. It's all good, man. Other than that, let's go right there, guys. Robinhood, off to the races we go. Should have just stuck with that name. Try this, boom. We take the stop out, but then we reload at a better price, and then sure enough, we hold it longer. We were looking for that move. Has the additional pullback, but then off to the races it goes, as we had a couple of volatility spikes step into this market. So we shoot 50% on this bad boy, and we hold on to green here in Robinhood. Yeah, give us 1 minute here, Assassino, as we go do our little bit of a ramble. Sector watch will be in a moment, but I want to talk about TSLA first because the chat always asks me, Joe, why aren't you trading this? Why aren't you trading that? Well, here we go. We're trying it right now. Took a couple attempts on it, guys. Now we have more shares than we had on the initial, equal to our second position here now. But what we want to do is hold on to this for as long as we possibly can. Sitting on 40% of the remaining position. There's small caps on my mind. Sharif went over those, so no need for me to do it again. But we have Tesla, Robinhood, and a couple of the small cap gappers on our radar here today. Obviously, keeping an eye on the NASDAQ and the SPY, just in case we have some volatility spikes, we have to be prepared. I wouldn't be surprised because there's clearly a resistance zone right here, something that was acting as support, and that's going to correlate with the actual underlying asset at $386.56. All right, so keep an eye on that level. We're up 1% here on TSLA, 2% on TSLL. See ya.
Thank you so much for that. Please do keep an eye out before we get into the segment on Meta. A bit of a downside here. Meta is ending partnership with Manus after China's regulators have demanded the deal to be terminated. This just coming in that Meta has ended partnership with Manus after China's regulators have demanded that the deal be terminated. Let's dive into our sector for today. The SPY currently on the downside. Yes, the SPY currently on the down. Well, it's trading flat at the moment. We're going to take a look at our sectors for today. Electric tech, seeing a lot of green here. Yesterday, there was a lot of red, which is looking good. NVIDIA trading up by almost 1%. We have MU reversing on its losses from yesterday and the day before, up 2.3%. INTC currently up, holding that momentum 6%. Double upgrade from the Bank of America. That was a surprise to buy from, underperform, and lifted its price target 235 from 96. They cited improving visibility in its server processor and foundry businesses. We have a Cisco making. Cisco also reversing its downside, currently up 0.3%. Tech services, lots of red. Meta down, Google down by 2.5%. Microsoft also down 2.2%, reportedly cutting hundreds of roles from its Azure cloud unit in China. Oracle also, we had their earnings report. It was a beat, but it plans to raise an additional $20 billion in equity and pay for its AI build out. That's what's causing the drag down today, down 11%. In finance, we again again, have a mixed day, mixed sentiment all across the board over there. KKR, however, Kuwait Investment Authority, and NVIDIA and Vistara are collaborating to launch Helix Digital Infrastructure, which is a new company designed to provide infrastructure for AI hyperscalers. Moving on to retail trade, again, mixed sentiment. We have Amazon currently in the red, a little bit under 1%. We have Costco, Walmart trading flat. Producer manufacturing looking good. Consumer durables, we have Tesla up almost 1%. Good day overall for health tech as well. Lilly up 2.5% on the day almost. Overall sectors looking good, not too bad. We could use a little bit of an improvement in the tech services, but overall, not a bad day. Sending it back to the guys.
Well put, Sia. Well put.
Very
We could
fantastic.
definitely use a little bit of more greenery. Anybody who's long anything in the portfolio could always use a little bit more greenery. But just before we get to the small cappers, because GELS has halted up again, I need to bring your attention to this greenery right here. This is very, very obvious. The micros, the semis, very strong today. They're outperforming everything, and you can see the mag looks like crap, okay? Only Tesla and NVIDIA are green on the day. NVIDIA is barely green, 0.5%. Tesla up 1 1/3. I wonder if that has anything to do with SpaceX, because I did the news this morning, and there wasn't really much with Tesla other than Belgium approving FSD. What do they have, 8 people in Belgium?
There's probably
like
about
9 now.
There's like 32 people in Belgium.
Yeah.
I don't know what their sales are like over there, but hey, shout out to FSD in Sweden.
Oh,
though.
Sweden.
I mean, hopefully one of the more popular countries, Norway, can get some FSD up there as well too, in the Nordic side of
The
things.
Nordic side.
Yeah, so shout out to those countries. Have you ever been to Finland or any of those places like Sweden?
I've been to, what's it called? The Netherlands. When I was in England, I drove, went through the
Amsterdam?
underground tunnel. Pardon me?
Like
Yeah,
you've been
to
to
Amsterdam,
Amsterdam.
yeah.
Alright,
And I flew in there once when I was on the way to the Middle East.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, it's very concretey.
It's European.
Well, if the downtown area is very nice, very old, nice and beautiful Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Go outside of that,
Outside
and you
of it.
feel like you're at York University.
You're at York University. All right, or downtown Toronto. There it goes. Finally on TSLL, Sharif. We're going to try to Deontay Wilder this one, guys. You know how it goes. We're going to rock and roll. We're still sitting on approximately 40% of our position as we finally get that breakout. I said, not today. You're not going to fool me on this move right here. Fool me once. We all know what George Bush once said, baby. Not going to fool me again. So there it is. We take that 1 stop out, take 2 stop out, sells off. We get a significantly better price as the market slowly starting to find its footing. Hey, shout out to this name as well, too. Who was it? iGrow Fighting said, hey, Joe, I would like to fight you in a WWE match. I said, sorry, man, I can't. I'm officially like even more shares now here in TKO Holdings. So I'm a shareholder. That's a conflict of interest. That can't go down. Shout out to TKO Holdings, up to $210 right now. So not too bad. And then NASA, finally, we're only about $6 OTM on this bad boy. But hey, we'll take it for what it is, a nice move. And I also bought some more Google down here, Sharif.
Cool.
Some more. Actually, I got back into Google. So we're slowly starting to grab some more things. Glad we're sitting on some dry powder. $348 is what I picked some up at. Just a 0.5 percentage point just to scratch the itch, essentially. But what we do have cooking up for us is Dana White and Company and your boy Triple H, Vince McMahon. Is Vince McMahon still on the thing? Anyways,
Yeah.
it's irrelevant. I'm in this for my boy Dana White. I think there's only one way this is going to go. I can see these combination of companies. This is going to be the hottest take potentially of 2026. I think I can see these companies at $1 trillion valuation in the future.
All right, cool. Just tried to get into gels for a breakout, failed, got the hell out before it's halting down now at 144. So we'll go 0 for 2 to start the day. Stopped out RKDA, didn't hold trend. Stopped out here gels because the trend reversal. So tough morning to start, but it's okay, you know, paper cuts. But I like to get, you know, nice in the flow of things to kind of get, you know, the winning mentality going over here. And it's displeasing here to start 0 for 2, but that's the way it goes. Let's take a quick look at PGen. PGen looks a little bit better. Just got to choose the right trading screen over here. PGEN, let's take a quick look at this one. 446, showing that $0.50 area. possible support. Much slower of a mover, PGEN, only up 14 2/3. Not much to really do here other than ride trend. Let's go ahead and take a shot here. Do I have the right? Oh, that's wrong. That's why. I see. Okay. So what we will do, DSY. Do I have DSY on another other screen? BIYA. Okay, so we'll just change this one here so that it can jive with the others. So the others are 11. Link to 11. Apply. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was moving around my charts earlier, so this chart here is associated with a different one. There we go. Now we're in business. So let's take a quick look here. 447, still putting in higher lows on PGEN. Not the biggest fan of this entry, especially so close to the $0.50. If we can't shake that $0.50 seller, then I don't think I want to be involved. Velo does look really good. VELO, I mentioned this one at the top, but yeah, topping tail candle, $30. I don't know. This is a good entry, but I'd like it on a pullback, possibly in about 29.5. If it can give me the 10 EMA, but it looks like it's on the move right now. I don't want to chase it. MNTS, also a distinct possibility here, showing its intentions of taking out 15 decisively. It failed to do that on the first attempt, rejecting 15, 17. So I'm not sure how to feel about this one. Bovin is saying HKIT. Yeah, let me have a look at HKIT. We had a look at that one yesterday. It wasn't my favorite, but we're going to give it another look right now. HKIT. Yeah, ripping up into area highs. All right, 77.50. We can take off, I guess INDP will have to come off here. Well, INDP is at the day high. I'll take off PPCB. So we can go HKIT on this one. This is a good one, Bovin. This is a really good one, actually. And it's far enough away from the dollar that my bias starts thinking, all right, you know, let's build a position at around $0.75 so that we can kind of weasel in here to the dollar area. So here comes 77 pennies. We're going to start with a starter position here, okay? Because I do anticipate this dipping a little bit. What do we got? We got 77s. I'm going to look to defend into about 70, okay? 70 is the topping tail candle from early in the pre-market at around, what time was that? 5:55. So if it can kind of hold above 70, then that would be the kind of the look that I'm looking for there. Let's wet the beak here into about 78 and change, but no continuity. There's a lot of short selling. So looking to dip trade, let's put another one here. Dip trade down around, I want to say 72 pennies to kind of defend that 70 area. We'll see if we get the fill, but there it goes into 79. No continuity though through 79, let alone 80. So we'll continue to watch that, Joey, as they look like they're selling pretty aggressively here in anticipation of an 80 print. But I got a feeling that this one might make it to the dollar. So we're gonna build a position into 70 and see what comes of that.
All right, man, there it goes. Robinhood, let me know when we're ready. Assassino, Robinhood now up to that $90 marker. We're talking about the supply zone there at that specific level here this morning. Take a look at this bad boy. Head over to our good old terminal and see what we have on Robinhood at that zone. We're looking at the open interest. Has that increased? Oh, no. Okay, all right, let's see what we got going on. We're ready. All right, let's fire it up here, guys. VinFast. Why did it not pull up here? VinFast, fire it up one time.
Got it, Joey.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it just decided to go away.
Well, it's because you.
There it is. Huge shout out to VinFast for sponsoring today's video. They just announced a massive partnership with AutoBrains and NVDA to bring level 4 agentic AI autonomous driving to life. We are talking next-gen intelligent tech that is completely redefining how we hit the road. If you want to see what the actual future of driving looks like, click the link in my description and check out VinFast now. There it is, guys. Go check VinFast out. There goes Tesla to the downside as the market is struggling to break the volume-weighted average price, but yet we have Robinhood, the name that we like here, ladies and gentlemen, to the top side, putting in a new high of the day not too long ago. All right, well, that sucked. I want to show you guys some open interest, but what we are going to do is head over to this option chain and see what we have there on Robinhood, $90 strike price. We're sitting on 14,000 contracts. We're rejecting that level right now. That is going to be the highest concentration of OI until you head into that $100 mark. But first things first, you got to walk before you can run and see if you can break through this level. 16,000 contracts open and close at that specific zone. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Tesla at the 385 marker. If there's any form of size or why we're continuously rejecting that level. And no, we're not seeing anything 3,000 contracts there. But what we do want to focus on is this expiration cycle. Yes, you guessed it, June 18th. It's going to be 7 days away, guys. So 385, once again, 3,700 contracts. And then we also have 395 with 7,300, and then also $400 marker, as it typically would, has a lot of open interest. So let's keep an eye on that bad boy. Right back to our charts. We're gonna wait for this. We're gonna wait for this reload here on TSLA, Sharif. I feel like the Nasdaq doesn't know if it's coming or going at this point. Lots of chop around these neck of the woods, brother. So you want to find something that's in play. Is it Tesla? Maybe, I don't know.
Is it Tesla?
Is it Robinhood? Is it who?
You immedially understood where I was going with that. That's my boy, man. That's why.
Over here, man. So hopefully, or is it TKO? Because you know that we are. Listen, now you're gonna hear me just like Sean. He has his names, Marvell. Well, I'm gonna ramble on for the foreseeable future about Dana White and Company here, Sharif. As we like that.
Why, Joey?
You know why?
You're gonna tell me why.
Did you know Dana White was bald?
He is bald, is he not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Come on,
Like,
man.
what? I was like,
man.
did he? Did he change since I saw him last?
He didn't go to Turkey or anything. No investment over there. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell our boy Luis? I don't know if you're listening here, but I didn't know how he would take it personally. I read.
Yeah, you said he was part of the club. I don't think he understood.
He knows because Neil.
No, but English is his second language, so unless he really hears it, I don't think he heard it, bro.
Did you know that Spain has the most bald men?
I didn't know that.
Planet. Yeah, like 40% of the bros over there.
Yeah,
right.
Where did you hear that?
I just read it, man.
Seriously?
Yeah. So you would think like the Spanish would have solid heads of hair, right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Spanish men that do. Mikel Arteta, Mikel Mourinho, Unai Emery. Well, Pep Guardiola doesn't, right? So Pep Guardiola is kind of, I guess, that.
Luis not on that list.
You see how I'm like listing only soccer players? I live in one unitary world, bro.
That's all right, man. But hey, shout out to España. And
España.
España.
Love it,
to all the other individuals. Hey, listen, I can't wait for Canada game
My
tomorrow.
opinion, it's the most beautiful city, most beautiful country in Europe.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Hot take.
No, I don't think that's a hot take at all. Maybe Switzerland up there as well too. You're like, nah,
my mom loves Switzerland.
Okay.
That was her favorite.
That was her favorite?
Yeah,
I can get behind that, the Swiss Alps. I've never been to Europe, so it'd be hard for me to opine on that bad boy. But what we are going to do, Sharif, is take a look at Tesla. Are we ready to reload? I don't know. We'll wait and see.
The soccer glaze is crazy. Brother, I can't help it. I got limited information over here, okay? I come with what I've got. Shut up. Shut out, man. I didn't mean shut up. I meant shut out. NUAI Bovin, but first I got to talk about this. There goes HKIT. We did well on this one, and then it all came down. So we got the hell out of there, okay? Flattened out at 80, was long 77s. That was actually 76.5. It showed 77s up at the board. There does seem to be a buyer here at 70, and you'll recall that's where I had my dip trade. Right? So I didn't allow that to trigger, namely because I used the flatten key to get out here at 80, and the flatten key basically cancels all your outstanding orders that happen to be active for a certain name. So I didn't trigger that. What I want to see is, can we breach prior bar high on the 1? What is that? That's about 77 pennies. So I think a back above 77.5 pennies gets me back into the trade here on HKIT. But if it fails 70, I'm not interested. MNTS is just Rip City, Rip City. Into 1588 it goes. Here comes $16. It's up 40%. It's a bit spready at times, and I don't even think that it's that bad. 5, 6 pennies. Here it opens up a little bit. There's 10 pennies. That's kind of what I mean. So it's a little bit, hot and cold. Keep an eye out on this one, but be careful how you execute on MNTS, because the cost of doing business could be about 10 cents per share, just getting in and getting out instantly here, okay? All right, just looking at some of the headlines here, making sure everything's good, everything is okay. All right, so Bovin was saying NUAI. So I got to get to this one pretty quickly. Sharif, will you guys reserve a square on the big board behind for live soccer? I don't think I got that kind of pull around here, man, but you know, that'd be nice. What we can do though,
What can we do?
is run soccer on our side screens.
Okay.
Because today, Mexico
Bang, Viva.
initiates the World Cup.
Viva la Mexico.
So, but I don't even think that there's going to be too many games that are going to be on during the midday.
Dude, I don't know if this.
Right?
I don't know
Because-
if this, yeah, it's 3 o'clock. I don't know if this
Yeah.
statistic is true, man. But apparently, like 60% of Americans like aren't even gonna watch World Cup.
Well, I kind of believe that.
Yeah, I did.
But hold on.
Yeah, hold on, man.
Just before we go to Sia, you have to think about this. Think about the growth of soccer in North America.
Yeah,
Compare it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah,
take 1994, the last time the World Cup was in the United States.
Yeah.
I wonder what the percentage of interested Americans was then versus now.
No.
I'm willing to bet you dollars to donuts that it is exponentially higher.
Yeah.
Just because
Absolutely.
of the
I wouldn't
Prem
disagree with
and
that.
you know.
I mean,
soccer
listen,
like
soccer's still the biggest sport on the planet.
it is.
Yeah, it's without
Murray,
any question.
soccer doesn't suck, bro. Come on now. We got. Should we go? Yeah, we got to go to.
It's the most popular sport on the planet. Yeah,
I like it.
Let's head over. Yeah, I know you like it. Let's send things over to Messia.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Novo here, really slipping on the downside, bleeding right now. Novo Nordisk identified an IT security incident. Core business operations is not impacted. Unauthorized access has been found in some of Novo's IT systems, but it's reported that, as I said, their main business operations have remained unchanged. They're identifying the parties, and it's also notifying affected parties as needed. It's adding that loss on the chart. It's still bleeding. Keep an eye out.
Bleeding its own blood, though, Sia? My bad. Sorry about that. All right, guys, we're back into HKIT. I like to hold off 70. I'm seeing a triple bottom on a wick basis. Let me make my argument here. Why is there no ticker on here? Is it Stacy? Is it? Sorry, guys. I'm in a mood today. All right, so a lot of 70 bumps over here. Look at this. So a lot of defending at 70. So I'm going to give this one the old college try. Let's see if it kind of moves back into 80. What did I got? I got 78.48 on this one. Half the shares that I took originally because we don't give too much back. So that's one thing to look at. Uh-oh. Topping till candle manifesting here on MNTS. So watch out for that 15.88 dropping to 15.25. Thing is, though, that's the bad news. The good news is we're still holding higher lows. So be on the lookout here, MNTS. Just going to send you back to Sia.
Yeah, again, keep an eye out on USO. U.S. President Donald Trump growing furious. Reports coming in from CNN saying that his strikes on Iran are not seen as powerful enough. He's saying that a week after ordering new strikes on Iran, believing that both Tehran and the media did not view the U.S. military action as powerful enough. According to two people familiar with his reaction, this report's coming in from CNN.
More power. Yeah, look, man, I'm not happy with what's happening here. And just when you think like things are winding down, I knew it wasn't going to be so easy. I wasn't that naive, but I just figured, you know, we were going to start the process, right? At least start the process. Maybe we stumble, a couple of times in this process, but start the frickin' process. Let's get this done, man. We want to move on from this whole thing, right? I mean, I don't think anybody really wants this thing to go on more than it is. And I think, I think President Trump is starting to honestly get a little bit tired with it as well, but it's his problem. Anyway, continuing to watch here, HKIT, nothing doing. RACDA is failing here, so it's going to lose its spot on the side chart momentarily. It is losing the trend. It is coming into those pre-market areas at around 135, but it's below VWAP. It's about to lose the $0.25, so RKDA, that one is negative for me. We're going to keep an eye out on it, though. Oh, just got stopped out as well of HKIT. It lost trend. We'll give back a little bit there, but we'll stay positive on that one. SPCE, MNTS, and GELS. So GELS halted back to the upside. The thing is, I want to point out about GELS here is that it still has lower highs. So despite the fact that, oh, we're not halted up, my mistake, I thought we were halted up. It was just stagnant. So we're doing okay here on GELS. I can't quite see what limit up is. 145 limit up, so we're pretty close. to that level. Let's see if it changes. 145 now, showing almost at that halt parameter, and now we're in it. So now we've initiated the halt parameter here on GELS, failed into 143. 145, maintaining that halt parameter. Let's see if we can kind of get in a little bit here. Ride this one a little bit higher. Let's go 147s and then 149s. So it did move up the halt parameter there. The problem with this one is we still have lower highs. Into 47, 48. 48 is limit up, okay? 48 limit up. We're waiting for the print. We're not going to get it because it's limit up. So that's fine. We're going to hold into the halt if it halts. Last time was a false halt. We need another 5 seconds at this level. GELS still south of the $0.50, mind you. We're going to give this one the old college try. We're halted up now on GELS after being halted down. We did hold VWAP, as you can see, cleanly. The problem is, though, the same thing I articulated earlier, is that we're still putting in lower highs. So area high is still a little bit lower than the prior area. So we'll see if we can kind of ride this one into a nice move. Tap is showing 148, the same area that we halted at. Halt time, 11:40:25, meaning the earliest we'll be open is 11:45:25. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We'll let you know what's going on. For now, we're gonna go back up to Sia for Money Talks.
Cash money.
Yep, Money Talks, that's right. The European Central Bank, as of today, has raised interest rates by the percentage of 0.25% to 2%, and has joined counterparts in Australia, Norway, and Japan in tightening monetary policy. And more central banks are set to follow in the coming months. Reports coming in from Reuters. The dollar currently sitting around the $100 mark, up just 0.19%. Technical consolidation in the dollar today seems like, and the latest U.S. strikes on Iran, that's the 49 Tomahawk missiles yesterday, have triggered a sharp oil rally, driving certain inflation concerns across these major economies. That's all. Sending it back to you.
Thank you for that, Sia. I was showing Joey, Neymar was going through a mall in the States. He was trying to shop. Poor soul. You'd think he'd have a little bit of undercoverness, Assassino, because, you know, he's in America. Nope. Everybody and their mother knew who this guy was. He was running, him and his bodyguards, through the mall. They were trying to get the hell out of there. Poor guy, you know, he's trying to get a couple of new shirts, Joey, right? He wants to go out on the town. He's in America, and you know he wants to have a good time. He can't even do that.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. It's tough being I don't know how tough it is.
Did he twist his ankle shopping? Because he's perennially injured.
Yeah, he's a Band-Aid. Yeah, I know, he's a Band-Aid, man.
That hit glory was stolen from this guy through injuries. This guy
he was always
could move the ball like some of the best.
He was
in the
talented.
world,
he was
man.
extremely talented, but just injured
TMDE,
all the time.
thank you.
Had a couple of hockey players like that, guys. TMDE, let's pull that bad boy. I heard you mention that, Sharif. As we sit in this Tesla trade, still looking for this breakout. Are we going to reload? A lot of it's going to dictate what the SPY and the NASDAQ are going to be up to here today. We can go over some of the larger cap names and head to our watch list, run through the options chain, and just see what we're looking at from an open interest standpoint, all right? We're just stuck in this consolidative zone. The longer we hang around in this neck of the woods, to be honest with you, the less I like it. We also have to take into consideration the fact that we are establishing lower highs throughout this trend with this support level. So we do have this descending wedge that's slowly starting to form. Now, if we don't get that breakout with volume or any form of catalyst that favors the topside move, then we might be in a little bit of trouble and have to be prepared to get out of our current position, in which we are currently sitting on 40% remaining. Where do we go? I mean, Robinhood's already off to the races, so we can't chase that bad boy, nor do we want to as a primetime entry. Where's my boy Gorev over there?
Yeah.
Nice prints across the board here. And then that's when I was like, you know what? Let's rock and roll. So we got instantly ITM, and that's what we wanted to see. We took some off. And this is what I was referring to literally 20 seconds ago. Just the fact that, hey, lower highs, support level. Watch out for a liquidity grab here. I'm going to try to find some momentum momentarily in this small cap world, but we have to find a high quality setup. I'm only trading one style of setup for me personally, and that's like a breakthrough resistance. So I was looking at QH, and there's a couple of other ones that broke through earlier here today without me while I wasn't paying attention, and that was PPCB. So shout out to this name at that 310 break. I was telling Adam James in the chat, watch out for this this 310 break, and then whoosh, look what happened after that. You go all the way up to 650. So that literally more than doubles in a short period of time. Now, where am I going to focus? Not RENT, not CRMT, maybe INDP. Absolutely. But Sharif, you do know what time it is?
Yeah. I just have to read a headline first. Thank you, Darwin. Iran's parliamentary speaker Galibaf. Wrong strategies and impulsive decisions will reset the entire board for the worse, explode energy infrastructure and markets, and create an endless quagmire. He knows the word quagmire. Interesting. Okay, so that just came in there. Thank you, Darwin, for that, brother. We'll keep you guys apprised of the headlines as and if they do come in. Let's go up to the big desk with CN Juan.
We're going to go to Juan. He is going to talk and give a summary about the European market. Juan, really, over to you.
Thank you so much, guys. All right, so guys, European market close. Trading pretty cautious, especially after a lot of geopolitical noise happening overnight. But we do see everything in the green. The Stoxx Euro 600 up by about 0.8%. They snapped a 4-day long losing streak as macro and also rate clarity brought some buyers back into the fold. Over in Germany, they were up by about 0.31%. They were limited, of course, by about a 4.4% drop in SAP, one of their stocks there. But if we head over to France, the CAC 40 up also by 0.4%. Closed comfortably green as aerospace, as well as luxury brands and financials caught a steady bid overnight. Now, in the UK, they are the ones who made a really good rebound, cleanly back into positive territory by resurgent commodity and energy heavyweights. And most of the talking point that happened, I think CEO also mentioned this just now, is the ECB interest rate hike, basically. European Central Bank raised their rates by about 25 basis points to 2.25%. That's the first increase since September 2023. And that was mainly driven by, of course, Middle East inflation risk, as well as geopolitical noise. The move was already priced in by traders, but another thing to take note about is also the growth projections for 2026. That is projected at around 0.8%, and their raised inflation forecast is also by about 3%. So officials were citing about Middle East tensions as well as all the things coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. Those were the primary drivers affecting markets and confidence, and all these geopolitical shocks definitely making waves into the energy sector for the European markets. But other than that, they ended up in the green, so not bad day for European trading.
Yeah, absolutely not a bad day, but always a good approach to be cautious across all the currencies and all the markets, yeah? Back to the boys. Thank you so much, Juan.
Great information from them, and absolutely, I think it's going to be interesting to see, Joey, how the European economy, I know it's not one unitary economy, but as a whole, how it functions now that they've raised rates and now possibly continue to raise rates in the future. We know the European Union, you know, they've seen better days economically, Joey.
Yeah.
But you never know, you know, they could come out of this.
On top? Yeah, I believe so.
Guys, boom, into the highs. 178 area high on gels. We're holding 45s. Halt parameter initiating at 77. Limit up 77. This one has a tendency not to actually halt when it starts at the halt parameter. Case in point, let's see if this halts. Holding, patience here, looking for more, looking for the move into 2. Want the halt into 78. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Halted to the high side, 177 GELS, up 244%. 1 for 1 on it, positive now as a result of this latest trade. So looking for a little bit of a bigger move here, GELS picking it to go into 2. Simultaneously, we're losing money on HKIT. We're in at 79. It keeps rejecting 80. It's got lower highs, but it keeps holding above that 70 area. So I'm trying to pack the patience. I debated taking this out break even or for like a penny loss. But I like what I'm seeing in terms of that 70 area, dancing around between 70 and 80. The only problem with this is I'm not seeing higher highs. what I'm seeing is lower highs, especially with the prior bar, the 1140 bar on the 5, a high of 83.02. Current bar, the 1145 bar, 79.91. Both of them ended up closing below 80, despite the fact that prior bar did breach 80. We're having trouble here with 80 pennies on HKIT. I think that that's basically where the shorts are targeting their position. So be on the lookout for that. But the OG Bovin brought my attention to ADIL, halted to the high side, up 19.44%, hasn't done much at all, in fact, in the way of volume, about 65,000 shares, less than that. 258 halt. Market cap is very small, 5.53 million. Is this Chinese? Give me a sec. I didn't ask for key ratios. I asked for company profile. Thank you. Charlottesville, no, this is an American company, so we're good. All right, well, we're not good, but, well, at least we know what to kind of expect there. So that's the look there, Joey. Waiting for something to happen here on HKIT. Either I get stopped out or we go through 80. What's your look on that side, brother?
All right, man. Same thing, same narrative. I mean, what time do we get in this? 11 o'clock. It's 15 minutes later. Still moving sideways along the volume-weighted average price. Excuse me, let's see if this is going to be an accumulation before we can take an additional leg higher. Let's head over to our watch list and actually go through a rundown of some of the larger names. Shout out TKO, up 2% here today. But we're going to look at NVDA. I mean, actually, let's start right at the top. TSX, how are we doing here today on the TSX composite? Something that we very rarely talk about. 34K on this bad boy with a high of 35,000. Oh, you want to see something? Stonks only go up. Well, so do Canadian ones. The TSX been on a big time run here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're looking to get involved in some Canadian equity, there it is, April of 09, all the way to where we're currently trading at. You get 391%. Okay, it's not great, but I mean, it's pretty good. You're not going to complain about it whatsoever. We're going to send it over to them momentarily. We don't need to do this on the NASDAQ or the SPY. But how has gold been performing?
How's it performing?
Not very, as of late, Sharif, not very good.
It's under 400, man.
It's under 400 bucks, and I'm liking
I should show this to my mom, man.
I'm liking the look of this one's jib. I'm going to slowly start to dabble. That's what you say all the time, isn't it?
I like it, man. I like it. That's why I was hitting the bang.
That's why we hit the bang. But yeah, I like gold too. I like TKO, as I mentioned, probably about 4 or 5 times already today. And we're going to hear it a lot more. But gold, silver, I don't mind grabbing a little bit. A couple of percentage points in the portfolio isn't going to hurt anybody.
Who's this Bryson Tiller guy you're listening to?
You don't know Bryson?
No, I don't know.
Wow.
Wow. Is he good?
Yeah, he's great. Well, if you like R&B, yeah.
I do like R&B, man. Okay. Add to the list.
Add it to the list.
Are those Japanese characters?
It's part of his album. I don't know why it's like that. It's just
okay.
a cool feature. Look, you see how he kind of looks like
Are those real tattoos on his face?
No.
Oh, okay. My bad.
They would look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I do, actually. He's got a barcode. You can scan him.
What do you think?
Hey, you know how much he's worth there.
What do you think would show up? All right, let's send it over to Sia.
That was insane. Okay, so quick update here. SpaceX preparing to stage the largest public offering ever, as we do know, at $75 billion. Now BlackRock has put in an order of $5 billion to buy $5 billion worth of SpaceX shares. This is just coming in from the Wall Street Journal that BlackRock has put in an order to buy at least $5 billion worth of SpaceX shares, according to some people familiar with the matter, Wall Street Journal reporting.
All right, thank you. Hold on, Sharif, I got a couple more things there.
I just laugh at the chat.
Yeah, what they saying? What they saying, my boy?
They're nothing. They're being very kind, as usual.
As they usually are. Yeah. Shout out Ben Affleck in the chat as well, too. NVDA. What are they saying now? I don't even know. What do they got going on? All right, man. All right. Hey, man, from time. All right, NVDA, thank you. You are up a 50%.
Gel's open.
Bang, bang. All right, there we go. Gel's open on that one. We have Apple up about 0.4%, but Goggles, something that we just bought, down another $2.7%. So not the greatest look, but hey, were we going to buy it all the way up here? No, you're now getting a discount, $60 plus off of those highs. You got a 15% pullback so far in this bad boy. Any form here, we have a complete gap fill. Now, where is that next level of support going to be? Doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to buy some time and time again. This is going to be one of my top largest holdings by the time I'm done with it, Sharif. And there's Meta, unfortunately, can't get out of its own way, down to $560, losing that $600 marker. Not too good of a look. And then we have Oracle to the downside. You like those things?
No. No.
I know it was the first thing that popped up there.
No.
but you
It
just
was
wanted to
at
show
the
me.
basketball game. I'll tell you.
All right, you can tell me off camera. There it is, Oracle gapping down on a beat too. I'm surprised what they had going on there. Some more RPO added there.
RPO?
Yeah, another, I think it was like 83 or $93 billion in remaining performance obligations for Oracle.
Yes, absolutely. There goes Gels into the, I see you, Zion. I see you, Zion. All of a sudden, Zion's liking the small cap gappers. That's what I want to hear, man. Shout out to my man, Zion. La la. Gels halted to the upside, 201, halt time, 11:54.17. We are out at 2, having gotten in at 145. So good trade there on GELS. This one is going, guys. It's at the whole dollar level. If we start getting into 3, I'm going to start thinking 5, okay? Let's just see how this cookie crumbles. But the cookie is crumbling here on my head on HKIT right now. A little into 77, a little into 73. I don't like the look of this one. I feel on HKIT that the lower highs are more pronounced than the higher lows. So despite the fact that we're getting that 70 defend over and over and over, it doesn't feel like there are enough buyers to kind of push this one through 80. So I'm starting to feel a little bit differently about this one. We're going to draw our line in the sand. We have already drawn the line in the sand, excuse me. The stop's already out. Let's see. I don't plan on adding into this one anymore into 70. So we'll have to see how this cookie crumbles over here. What's Casey calling out? One ONEG, GLS, and Adil. So Adil is still, my uncle's name is Adil, by the way, A-D-I-E-L, but I've seen people spell it A-D-I-L. Anyway, ADIL is a buyout. Neil, I think you might be interested in this, brother. Adil Pharmaceuticals acquires Azora Therapeutics in all stock transactions, enters concurrent private placement to raise $64 million. So Adil is acquiring Azora. Tickers are ADIL. I don't think that there is Azora, but there could be this one here, SECOEF. I don't know if that is going to be the ticker for them on the Jeff Mendel exchange, SECOF. How come it's not popping up? No, I don't have anything there. I could be wrong. Double check for me, chat, if you guys have that, but I personally don't. So ADIL going into a 15-minute halt, I believe. Let me just double check. 1 minute chart. Halt time exactly at 11:43. It is 11:57. So this one does feel like it's going to be at least a 15. It could be longer. Now, let me tell you guys a little trick here for the newer traders. The more experienced traders are already going to know about this. You can mosey on over to the NASDAQ halt page. NASDAQ halts, halt list, whatever, current trading halts. And let's take a look, see if we can find a deal. There it is. So this is limit up. So it hasn't changed yet into pending, news pending. Sometimes when you do have these buyouts, the exchange wants an explanation. They want to know what the hell is going on. So keep your eye on the reasons code there. LUDP means limit up, okay? It's like kind of what you'll see on my level 2 when I start yelling limit up and limit down. That's what I mean there. So you can kind of double check for yourself to see what's going on with that one. But HKIT is disappointing me here, Joey, and it looks like we're going to stop out momentarily.
All right, no problem. Yeah, all right, same thing. We're right back at the top end of the range here. This wedge finally maybe reaching its peak. Compressed enough, maybe we're going to get that blowing point where we just take it off the top. You can see the NASDAQ does have a V-shape reversal right here, guys. So you have the consolidation zone, you dip lower, and then now you're starting to form another one. What we want to see, volume increase in a 5-minute candle, sit on the top end of this range at 728.47, and then maybe if we're fortunate enough, we can head up into this high of the day of around 731. But as I typically say, you got to walk before you can run, and step by step as we come back in here on Robinhood as well, too, guys. So keep an eye on those bad boys. I mean, we were heading over to our watch list. We're waiting for this breakout. It's not necessarily a momentum style play, but hindsight being 2020, we post up. I think we get a good reload opportunity right here at the lower end of the range on Tesla via TSLA at $12.26. we hold up there, and then off to the races we can potentially go, as we're up 2.4% here on the day within this specific name. Tesla up 1 1/3. Now heading back to our watch list, guys, Netflix down 1.4%, ARM Holdings up a staggering 6.3%. So not too bad of a look as we remain and wait for this breakout and diamond hands this trade. I mean, if we do get it right now, let's head actually back. Sorry, I know I'm jumping over a little place, all over the place a little bit. But what I want to do is hold this for as long as we can, and that would be into the high of the day. It may take some time, but hey, we're willing to sit through it. We offloaded 60% of our position. Worst case scenario, what happens is we identify price starting to turn around at this $12.45 marker. Right, that's where I think we would start to construct a lower high. And if we start to come back in, then we can reassess the situation and potentially take off a little bit more. But as of now, my game plan is to rock and roll and hold it on the high of the day. There it is, Sharif. There's this wedge, brother. We're starting to compress. Maybe too much pressure. Maybe we're going to get ready to skyrocket is definitely an overshot. But hey, we'll take it for what it is. Maybe we will see some more inflows into Tesla for the SpaceX IPO tomorrow.
Oh, boy. Limit down.
Limit down was running yesterday. All right, so
1G limit down on 1G. So this one just touched 2, right into 148 limit down. So there it is. Great. So no continuity on these ones at all. I think we need to start going back to the way we were trading these before, where we have to be super risk averse because we're getting this parabolic effect, but it's not sustained. And we saw that Tuesday. I think we saw a lot of that yesterday, more than Tuesday, and we're seeing it again today. We don't have as many halting up as we did yesterday, like Gels is halted right now, so is 1G. But what I'm trying to say is, I think that the risk is coming back into the market for small cap traders in a way where I think it kind of took a lot of people by surprise, because we kind of put our goggles on after Monday's session. So something to keep an eye out there. SPCE is making a move though, and that is not surprising. Is this on the New York? Yeah, SPCE right into that 580 area. Now this has an ascending wedge pattern on SPCE where we have a bunch of higher lows coming into 6. This is the high of the day here, 581. So be on the lookout for a squeeze into 6. SPC has been a slower mover today, but it could pick up, especially if it starts squeezing some shorts out. So keep an eye out on that. SPC up 23, about 0.5%. So what we're going to go up to SIA for happening now. Then Neil's got his lesson of the day. Is Neil doing?
Let's talk market. Currently, the SPY, the IWM, DIA, all up in the green. Little over 1% and trading flat. We're going to take a look at the first news I have for you. Well, gold. Let's look at certain commodities. Gold is at its 6-month low. Lowest level of this year, 2026 alone, and the commodities down 6.3% this week alone. Expectations that the Feds will keep rates higher for the long run are weighing in on the precious metals overall. It had that nasty drop at 10 a.m., trying to reverse all its all the downtrend that it's seeing today. JP Morgan, sorry about that. JP Morgan also saying that the investors are pulling back from the debasement trade in gold and Bitcoin. Next up, we're going to talk about Lyft and Uber have sued New York City to block the driver retention law. As of today, Lyft has joined Uber in suing the New York City to block a new law that they said would force them to keep certain bad drivers who threaten public and passenger safety on their platform. So this lawsuit, sorry about that. The lawsuit was filed late yesterday in Manhattan Federal Court, 24 hours after Uber sued. Lyft joined them in that. And that's all for your happening now. I'm sending it back to the guys. And after that, we'll hear Neil's lesson for the day.
So have fun, bro. Yeah, I have commitment today, so I won't be able to stay after that. All right, guys, MTEN is going 1588. It's trying to hold 15 right now, but Space is all the rave. Space goes into 582. Gonna keep a close eye out on this one, Joey. What do you got, my man?
Same thing, my brother. We're looking at the exact same bad boy right here, TSLA. Let's zoom in on this sucker here. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, by the way. Just because, you know what, World Cup firing up today, Viva la Mexico, and whoever else is playing, I have no idea, but I do know that Canada is playing Bosnia tomorrow, Sharif. I don't know what their chances are of winning that one, but what we will do right now
I think
is...
they're actually favorites, if you want the truth.
No, Bosnia? My boy said he was a big, like a couple of my buddies are big soccer fans.
Yeah.
Let
me double check.
They say we're pretty sloppy with the ball.
Well, we have a lot of injuries, Joey. Our central defender,
Alfonso's not playing.
Exactly. That he may join us second or third game.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. Let's go to World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow. So we're actually the favorites, man.
Yeah?
We're minus 125. They're plus 375.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's probably some home.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, man. Regardless of the home
right?
field advantage.
Yeah.
Regardless, man, you're gonna catch me cheering on the team here, Team Canada. Shout out to them in every sport. It doesn't even really matter what it is. I'm gonna be rooting. Catch me in Liberty Village as well too. But don't run up on me because that's a very dangerous thing. All right, guys, we're gonna do our boy Bravely. I saw it here because I feel like we haven't been paying him enough respect and giving those shout-outs. Your only chance, if you do that one more time, you're going to be going on timeout.
What happened?
Bravely already did it.
Oh.
Bang.
Brother, don't you want to be part of the community? You're just going to get yourself smacked with a band. Why would you want to do that?
Bro, you got 1,800 seconds too, man. That's a hefty one. All right, B. Kratos, Dan Chat, Sam, Ari Aki, Vince. What's going on, Bravely? Vince.
Get it, Vince.
Vince, yes. Dem, Agent J. Oh, okay. Who's the guy from... The Matrix, Agent, whatever his name is. Anyways, Jeff, my name is Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
There he is, Ansi. Who else do we got? We got Carlos Chronicles. All right, we like that one. Legal Crusader, Jantindir, what's going on? Guinea Scotty, love the names. Lucky, love that one. Junya, Airsoft League. Oh, I love Airsoft. Let's go, man. Mickey, Ray Chills. Mickey Rorick? All right, Fair Value Guy, and a couple more. We have Kayak Fishing, love that. Gazzy the Champ, and OK2Ace, who is always in the chat. Shout out to you guys. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. There it is. We're going to get this breakout on Tesla. Oh, we're starting to come back in a little bit. A couple of news headlines, and off to the races we can go. You know how long we've been sitting in this bad boy? See ya.
Yeah, this just coming in from the United States. Central Command's post on X saying that the Strait of Hormuz remains open for transit. Just again, U.S. CENTCOM saying that the Strait of Hormuz remains open for transit.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just use your thing for that. You know, just, punch in there, Sia. Do you have it? Hey, there you go.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you can interrupt all you want.
But the ding is just gives us that notification, you know what I mean?
There you go, exactly, especially. That's an important headline right there, because we know that they were trying to weasel their way through a different route, right? Remember? Trying to kind of funnel the ships in a way that
a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Okay, we don't want to get too in depth with this, Shrek, but we've been combating inflation for the better part of, I don't know, almost half a decade now at this point, it feels like. And then you just go ahead and do this where you know that the cost of energy is essentially going to go through the roof. I just don't see the thinking behind that, especially when your MO is to lower rates. It just doesn't work. You can't have one with the other.
It feels like that's the right thing to think, yeah.
Right.
All right, guys, gonna keep my eye on space here. I'm liking this one a lot better than everything else. I feel like the small caps just lacking continuity unless you're catching them off the jump. And I don't think that that's something that I can do having, to host the show with these ones. So we're gonna keep an eye here on space, looking for a move possibly back into 570. I think that would be an interesting area there. Also waiting here on MNTS. We've got a bunch of lower highs on MNTS, especially that 15.5 seller. I'd like to shake that 15.5 seller, and I'm not inclined to get right in at 15 and give it to a prior area low because it's already made multiple breaches through 15. So I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm not really liking a whole lot though, if I can just be as honest as I can be here. Everything else is kind of like breaking down. There's no continuity. Nothing really trading at the highs. Just looking through my scanner, that's what I'm looking at the top. GELS is still halted down, by the way, at $1.71. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a longer halt here, could be 10 minutes. 11:59:48 is the halt time. So that's something to keep an eye out on. VELO as well, I said very little about since the get-go. but it's also finding a bit of a base here at around 28.75, an area that it consolidated at earlier on and then kind of moved back up. What we do have, though, is a bunch of lower highs, so you need to contend with those lower highs as well. Keep that in focus before you punch in. Sharif, is RKDA worth to trade today, please? Thank you, Heaven, 4426 for the $2 super chat. We thank you for that. I traded RKDA unsuccessfully, and I've removed it from the side chart. And the reason I did that is because it lost VWAP. So this is RKDA over here. Let's do a little TA. So what I was looking for was continuity to touch 2 again. You had a lot of selling into 195, so you could tell the shorts were earmarking that $2-ish area as resistance. So then I said to myself, all right, that's fine. We failed 2 initially. Perhaps we can make another attempt at 2. And so I gave it to about 150. And the reason I gave it to 150 is because that was the pre-market high. So I was looking for that area resistance. In fact, it was after the pre-market as well that we encountered 150 as resistance. Take a look at this. From 1025 to the breakout at 1055. So my thinking here was pretty simple. Look for that key area of pre-market resistance to act as support. It failed, and it continues to fail. It's moving back into $1.26. This one goes red if it loses 90 pennies. So be on the lookout for that. Gels is open. It's going to halt back up. 178 limit up on this one, failing here into about 171, 172. Let's see what we can pick up on this one, perhaps ride it a little bit into some area highs. Let's put some profit takers at key levels. I'd like to see this one hold up. Gels has been okay. It's above the 10 EMA. It's been holding above the 10 EMA basically all morning, saving except for, a couple of perfunctory breaches, but not a bad name on the day. I think I'm going to focus on this one, and I'll focus on, well, Ruby looks like it's headed back to the upside, but I couldn't catch a break on Ruby. I kept getting stopped out. So I'm going to focus on Gels. There it goes. In through 180. We'll take a couple of prints there. No continuation, though, through the through the $0.75 level on a decisive basis. Let's see what it does now. If it fails current bar low, which is 155, I'll stop out. What do you got, Joey?
Same thing, man. We're finally getting this breakout on this bad boy. Holler at your boy in the chat if you are in this TSLL trade. Where's Luis Valencia? I know he likes to typically trade this one. Bob and I know, and Zion, you guys are on the small cap world as well. I got my eyes on that for a potential breakout and a nice momentum move, but we've been patiently waiting for this track to explode on here, and that is going to be TSLL. Long NVDA, 5 minutes. There's my guy. I've been waiting for you to pop up in the chat. How is our good friend NVDA doing? Gorev, are you in on Tesla off of that 5 minute print or that 1 minute print off the low after it broke through key support levels? Let's pull up NVDA. Can we run into we're still at 201, man. Okay, this is beautiful. This is what we want to see. Pretty close to VPA 101, right, guys? Let's kind of make this let's make it bigger. I don't know what I just did there, but we'll pop this up. And listen. There's devil in the details, and detail within price action and what happens in the correlation between volume is extremely key. So what I believe Gorev has identified here is, Joe, we've gone over this multiple times before, is that you have this support level, all right? So we're going to break this down step by step. You have this support level, and then eventually you have a strong engulfing print right here. And I'm referring to this bearish candle. But what is following that bearish candle? There's going to be an outsized volume candle as well. Okay, so what can we see based off of that? Maybe it's some form of stopping volume. This is the largest volume print since approximately 9:45 that morning. So a couple hours later, you have this print at an extreme low, right? We have incomplete data. We don't know what's coming next. But what's to follow is an indecision print off of the lows with the volume and an engulfing print. So you have 3 things that are all aligning. The stars are aligning. So what does Gorev do? Probably waits for the pullback or the break of the high of this candle and enters the trade. And I must give him credit where credit is due. He is patient. As I almost said something else, he's extremely patient. And then sure enough, now he's getting the breakout that he's been waiting for since approximately 11 o'clock this morning, an hour and 13 minutes later. 5 minute time frame, you do have to typically wait a little bit longer. So good look there. Nice move on NVDA. Are you trading NVDL? No, you're in the actual underlying asset itself. That's fine. Nice work. That's exactly what we want to see. Way to identify those signals, Sharif.
Huge shout out to VinFast for sponsoring today's video. They just announced a massive partnership with AutoBrains and NVIDIA to bring level 4 agentic AI, autonomous driving, to life. We are talking next-gen intelligent tech that is completely redefining how we hit the road. If you want to see what the actual future of driving looks like, click the link in my description and check out VinFast today. All right, there goes Ruby through the $103 high. It's dropping back down now into about 97, so a little zig and a little zag. RUBI looks good. I couldn't get a break on it. It wasn't holding my levels, but it's ripping right now into the area highs. Does it have the juice to clear the dollar? That is kind of, well, on a closing basis, it's already done it on the day through a wick. Limit up right now is showing 105. It's done about 53, almost 54 million shares traded on the day. I'm just gonna have to mute this chat. I'm not interested in this dialogue. Sorry, can you take over?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
For sure, man. We could do that for sure. As the market is actually starting to move a little bit higher, guys, we're not going to call it screaming or anything along those lines, but a nice steady grind. Don't expect the same type of momentum unless you have some news headlines stepping in, right? Donald says something, or in regards to the conflict over there in the Middle East. It's more or less this steady stuff. Like, take into consideration this lengthy consolidation, and the exact same thing here with Tesla. We were trading within a $something range here on this specific name before it decided to break out, but we were also referring to the price compression pattern earlier in the day, and that's exactly what we had. We had that descending wedge, and we were fortunate enough to catch that breakout there. Now, as for NVDA, we are north of VWAP, which is a positive sign for this actual underlying, but we're hovering around this $200 marker. Need I go over to the options chain? I think I do. Why? Because it's key for us to, and really important for us to keep an eye on where the open interest is lying. And we're going to head over to this bad boy, pulling up this feature and just seeing where everything is. The 18th is where we're seeing a lot of activity right now, and $210 is acting like a complete brick wall. I mean, I know it's still quite a ways away, but nonetheless, $10 at this point from where we're currently trading, a little bit less, $8. But we have to absorb this. And what I've been observing as of late is that there isn't that much demand for this name north of specific levels. I mean, we did climb up all the way to 235, 238, and then we came back in immediately as price was pushed down, and the short interest continues to grow on this for whatever reason. Sean was talking about it earlier today. It's just like, I don't know what's going on with NVDA. Well, every name that Jensen seems to mention goes on these big-time runs, whether it be Marvell or something else that he happened to talk about, but his stock specifically doesn't. We already went through a pretty big growth cycle. The numbers are fantastic. Do I expect the name to be performing a little bit better? Yeah, but I honestly don't know what's going on behind the scenes with it.
Yeah, it's interesting there. I think, you know, it's just such an aggressive run up for so many years, Joey, that, like, you know, I think the money's just funneling in some of the other chip makers. Like, you're seeing huge moves in the chip makers lately, right? But you're not really seeing that move in NVIDIA stock. And I think it's just because the market is cycling into some of the other winners. And what I was showing earlier on was this. And there is only one name on my semis list that's negative on the day. It's CDNS. It's Cadence, right? And they had a tie-up yesterday with Intel. So was it yesterday or the day before? The day before yesterday. Anyway, back in Ruby here, in at 94, looking for continuation through the dollar, showing 98.5. Resistance at the dollar. That's not to be that's to be expected, I should say, by everybody essentially. Held 90 decently, but we're not out of the woods. Looking for a bigger move here. Several beak wetters already through this area after that ad, but I'm looking for a bigger move through that dollar and just packing the patience to see if it'll manifest. 103 high. I can't quite see what the limit up is yet or limit down, but we'll see what Ruby has to offer. Let's not forget, though, about GELS. It's still above the 10 EMA, and it's trying to make another move here. Limit up showing 170 here on GELS. False halt, though, and this one has a tendency to false halt. Back to Ruby, because we're still zigging and zagging here in the high 90s, a little 97s, a little 98s. Here comes 98. Aggressive selling into 98. Can't quite shake the sellers there. But I'm not looking for 98. I'm looking for the dollar. So we got to pack the patience on this one, still holding a good amount of shares. So that's what I'm looking at now. Space, I keep failing to get into this because it doesn't give me enough time. It dips into the level, and then I don't have any resting orders there. But Space is definitely one that I'm interested. So RUBI, SPCE, and GELS, especially if GELS can start showing us some new highs, because right now it's a bunch of lower highs here.
The The IWM in the green, up by 1.4%. We're going to take a look at a couple individual tickers that I have picked out for you for now. SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings, up almost 22.2% on the day, which is the company that focuses on aerospace and travel and the design, manufacture, and operational of spaceships for researchers as well as private individuals. As of late yesterday, the company has completed a debt for equity swap. It's making a comeback after losing in pre-market severely and post-market trading yesterday. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, almost down 8% all the day. It also trades on the NASDAQ. Shares of this company slipped after the company forecasted a revenue decline in the fiscal 2027. It's pivoting away from Canadian consumer products and operations. And finally, we have MMA, which is mixed martial arts, down on the day by a whopping 37%, my favorite word. BJJ Link is their Jiu-Jitsu Academy software platform. So the AI-powered member acquisition platform has entered a beta deployment across their BJJ Link Academy network. And that's all. Wrapping it up, sending it back to the guys.
Yeah, Ruby through the dollar into 106. Got 92s on, looking for more, looking through the move above 106. There's aggressive selling at every single penny and down it goes. Look, you don't be the exit liquidity for these people. Okay? I mean, I feel like they're luring you in. Look at that. See that? From 106 down to 83. Yeah, this is distinct, right? This, I feel like big money algos know that the PDT rule is has been removed, and a lot of people are going to trade these small caps, and they're just luring you in because this is atypical price action here. You don't typically see that, right? You get a 10 penny drop, you don't get a 30 penny drop like that. So that is quite frustrating. You know, be careful with this, guys. Be careful, because what we saw on Monday, I think, took a lot of people by surprise. And then they were ready Tuesday. They've been ready Wednesday, and here we are Thursday. They're doing some stuff. So that's the way it goes, right?
That's the way the cookie crumbles, my brother. Let's head over to, I want to go over the couple of names that Sia was just mentioning. MMA. I mean, yeah, this name almost been cut in half off of the highs here on the daily. You can see 90 cents now all the way down to 47 cents. So maybe mixed martial arts. Hard to compete with the UFC, considering I'm now a shareholder. So we're going to hold that bad boy up, obviously being highly, highly sarcastic. I have zero influence with my minuscule amount. But now ACB, shout out to this name. Hopefully we can head up to $1,400 relatively soon. We're only trading at $3, so there's quite a ways away to go before we hit that that $1,400 marker. Let's go zoom out on the monthly and see if we can get to that level. So $1,500, that's not too bad. We're only about 99.9% away from that specific zone, down from that level, I should say, which is a little bit tougher of a look, but I have the utmost confidence in these. No, don't listen to anything that I'm saying. The only reason why I am mentioning it and bringing it up, I like that Sia had it. I've been in this name for quite some time. It is my biggest loss. It's 99.9% to the downside. So every penny is essentially gone. It's worth nothing, and my average price on this bad boy is around $1,400. All right, so only $1,397 more to go, and then sure enough, we can potentially break even here on Aurora Cannabis. Moving forward, let's take a look at our small cap watch list. We want to find some momentum. Ruby on the way. Rubico Inc. Not too bad of a look here, guys. 53 cents all the way up to $1.09. So that's a quick double up there. And I mean, at the end of the day, you get this pullback. You want to be patient and allow price to come into you. I'm only playing one style, and that's just going to be the high day break. So what I want to look for is curlovers in some of these names, and this is a primetime example in ProPanic Biopharma. Boom, this is the ideal breakout, but I didn't have my eyes on it. I was trading other things like Robinhood. So with that being said, I got to look for the next potential opportunity. It's the same narrative here on RKDA. And Lace, we actually got laced up on this bad boy. It didn't work for us. We took 3 attempts on it, but there was no continuation on this bad boy. So LASE, head over to the NASDAQ. And then we went over 3 on it. And I was like, all right, that's enough. Eventually, it did get somewhat of a break. We did have a nice strong pop, but I was looking for that move back and towards the high of the day. We weren't fortunate enough to get it. Moving forward, we'll do a quick review before we send it back to Sharif. Look at Robinhood gone, all the way up to $90 plus. This is what we were expecting this move and this leg to do, but there had to be an additional pullback, and then off to the races it went. So attempt one, attempt two, and then you know what they say, the third time is typically the charm as it breaks through all of those supply zones. Now, as for TSLL, this is the name that we're continuously sitting on. We are now giving back that breakout level. We were looking for the high of the day. I did mention 45s being that next potential turnaround point, but we did not get it. Joe, it's about time. UWU. Oh. No problem, man. We got you covered. As Tesla starting to come back in off of that high in the NASDAQ and the SPY. Been a pretty choppy mess over the past couple of days as we are plagued by headline sensitivity. All
right, man. Thank you for the two Norwegian kroner super chat. Good look there. All right, giving myself a try here at VELO. Let's see if we can kind of move back into that $30 area. Also keeping a close eye on space as that works in to $6. SPCE up about 24%, just got into the day high at around 584. Spread is decent, has been decent on the day, about 1 penny. Good amount of liquidity, over 60 million shares, almost 60.5 million shares here as we close in on that $6 area. So be on the lookout here for SPCE as it continues to trend up. Ruby's not done. I think this one's continuing to zig and zag, but I'm just not going to trade these small caps today. I'm just going to focus the majority of my energy on the SpaceX IPO tomorrow. Let's just leave these small caps. For now, I feel like they're a little exhausted. Maybe Ruby ends up going, and it'll have to go without me, though, because I'm not going to trade it. So we're going to keep an eye here on MNTS as we're trying to work into a position there. Now, I do see good support at around $0.75. Now, we did get a fail of about 20, I would say 29 1/3. Came into that level. Looks like it's failing here, but the VELO spread is a little bit wider. So keep your eye out on that one. This one could be interesting, especially if it continues to hold higher lows, which it's doing at the moment. The problem is we also need higher highs. The higher highs come in vis-a-vis a 29.75 break, right? That's the local area high over here if you're looking at the one anyway. So VELO in focus for me. And I don't want to forget about GELS, right? I'm going to let that one go for now because I don't want to trade these small caps. But if this starts taking off, especially through 2, then we'll get involved. Right now, it has an unbroken downtrend ever since putting in that 201 high, now barely holding on to the volume-weighted average price. Let's see if this one has the ability to get back above 2, kind of squeeze out some of the sellers there. INDP is a slow mover, but a good one nonetheless. You need to kind of keep your eye out on this one. Reason I say that is because it's got a bull flag forming here with a lot of resistance into what what looks like to be the 3 mid-40s, right? And we kind of drew that trend line there to denote the possible flat top break. But the proximity to the $0.50 makes me feel like we could encounter resistance even if we get a closing print above 340 because of that 350 area. So that needs to factor into your equation as well. PGEN looks like it might be curling up here. It was an unbroken downtrend. Looks like we're starting to recover. This could be some short covering, so watch out for a lower high. I'm thinking possibly 445 lower high. So if you're a small cap gapper inclined and you want to short, 445, maybe 450 if it rejects. That's a nice entry area there for you guys. But my focus right now is going to be on VELO. Let's see if we get in a little bit more shareage over here. The spread is really opening up, though, so let's see if we can get something at around the mid-print. And 29.07, let's see if we can get that. Nope, not immediately apparent. Oh, there we go. We got it. Let's see if this one can hold up, as I mentioned, at about 28 3/4, 28 2/3. If it holds up above there, I'll stay in the trade. Try to ride it back into 30, Joey.
Good stuff, man. I'll get all out of this Tesla trade as all this unrealized gains at that breakout are now evaporated. So we'll just hop out of that bad boy before it comes back to our break even. Choppier session here today, guys. Look at the NASDAQ, look at the SPY, not the cleanest, so just be prepared. You want to try to catch the lower end of the range, as obvious as that may sound. And same thing with Tesla, right? Like you can see how identical some of these patterns are. If it decides to go higher, then by all means, sure, right? It's not too close. But anyways, you have that big big print right out of the gate, and then you eventually recover. But it's just been a lot of overlapping candles, and we've been trading within this range, 388, for pretty much the majority of the session. The same thing, we'll head back over to the SPY and the NASDAQ. I know, actually, what did I just do there? Tesla, now we want that to keep that on the Qs. So I'm going to avoid the triples, the T-trips, and we don't typically trade the SPY. So I'm going to put it in the chat here what the actual leverage product is for this again, please, and thank you. I forget what it is. It's not typically traded, and there's big-time volume issues. With that being said, 201.34, we're going to see south of $200. I think maybe even around 185. Who knows, man? This name might even, considering, like, unless we start to pick up a little bit of steam within across the space there, I don't like continuously beating a dead horse, but I like talking about it because I am a shareholder, so I may as well ramble on for what I can. Now, I don't know what I did for the time frame aspect of things. That's good, great stuff. So we'll look at something else. We'll go over to this tab here and we'll pull this bad boy up and just look at the daily and see how, like, what are we gauging? Like, what are we talking about? Where are the next potential levels? And what we have is a shelf. And where can we compare and use some other names that are starting to form these shelves? We'll show you momentarily. But there it is, 198. And what I'm mentioning, what I've said before, is just be cautious of what can happen. So I believe we're going to head into the 180s on this. I could be totally wrong. We can definitely bounce off of this 193.61 and then continue to the northeast, which would be more ideal. I just believe it's going to take significantly longer to run into some of the analyst price targets up $350 and $400 plus, which I would love because I have a big time position within this name. Now, what do we have here in Meta? We have the exact, well, not the exact same thing, but identical price action here, guys, with just forming shelves. And then there's another example that I can go over with Netflix. So remember the shelf that we were talking about a month ago? There it is. It did get breached to the downside. You want to see a little bit more of an overlap and an ebb and flow within the actual daily price action. And that's why I always warn about those parabolic moves straight to the top side, because eventually they will come back in. And then you fall into this tomfoolery where it's like, okay, you look like you're holding up, but what we are going to do is probably just absorb some more liquidity and maybe even head south of $525 here on Meta. Now, let me go over one more example here for you guys, is Netflix, right? So we had the official trend line break in which we decided to climb higher. Fantastic stuff, right? From $76 all the way up to $107, 43% return, just like that, as soon as that trend line is broken. But then we later formed this shelf right here, and we broke it, and now we're heading to the downside. So you guys can now see the similarities in which I'm referring to here on NVDA. Shelf, no good, we don't like it.
You don't like it, I like it. All right, holding VLO, still finally in the money on this one, looking for a breach above the $0.50. Let's pack the patience, but I see all the small cap traders, Casey, Bovin, all you guys are on the ADIL tip over there. ADIL looking pretty good. I mean, I've seen a lot worse on the day, let me tell you, than this one. It's actually looking fantastic, relatively speaking. Couple of bottoming tail candles into 350, into 375, now trying to work its way back above 4. In fact, it is above 4, 4.25 incoming. It's a 468 high a day. The volume is picking up. It's about 3 million shares, 3.1 million shares on ADIL. It was halted for a while. It halted at 11:40 and resumed at 12:25. I can't quite see exactly what time it resumed because I'm looking at the 5-minute chart, but that's the 5-minute candle upon which it opened. But 420, 4.25 here keeps repeating as an area of resistance. The current bar high is just below 50 pennies. I want to say 448 current bar high in the 5, 376 current bar low. Here we are moving back into the third of a dollar. Prior bar high is the high of the day. That's 468, so be on the lookout for that. Velo just took out all my orders. We're up big now on this one as it moves into 29.65. I'm still holding the majority of the shares. Let's see if this thing can get to 30 and we can par some of the losses that we've made today on, or that we've encountered today on this name. So let's go ahead, put a nice beak wetter there at 29.75 for small shares. We'll put another one at 29.88 as well for small shares, holding the majority into 30. That's going to be my intention. Back now to ADIL. ADIL right back into the high, 486. That's a new high, guys. $5 incoming here on ADIL. Beautiful look here. As it zigs and zags, it is very volatile. It is moving 10 pennies at a time, sometimes even quicker. So be on the lookout. Resistance here, it looks like at 2/3. But the trend is what it is, man. Take it or leave it. You got, even though there's a lot of upper and lower wicks right now in Adil, it's higher lows and higher highs. And there goes Adil into 86. 80s. It dropped back down into 70, showing there it goes, Bovin into another area high. Limit up is 511. Limit up 511. But at the same time, there goes Velo into $30. There we go, man. Happy with this trade. We put on some size on this one. Let's go ahead and wait at 97s. Then I'm going to wait north of 30. We're going to wait at 30.11. See what we can get there on Velo, showing 29.97. The spread opening up, and there it goes into 30. VELO finally taking off over here as we catch a dub, and that has been hard, for me anyway, to do on the day. And guess what else, Joey?
What's that, man?
Should I say it? There goes INDP. Told y'all flat top break was brewing on this one through 340 into 373. INDP is doing its absolute thing over here and looking pretty good. Back to Adil. Let's see what this one is doing. 517 high on the dill. Let's see if this one can get into 10, Joey, but it's got to clear through 5 on a closing basis before we can start talking about 10. But that will be my bias. If this thing can clear 5 and clear decisively, I'll start thinking 10, but we'll have to wait and see if it can do that. I'm not going to trade Adil. I just feel like maybe, you know, the small cappers right now, maybe this one's got the juice to kind of get to 10. I don't have the good read on the small caps like I had, before this whole foray happened with the volume. So I'm going to steer clear on this one. Take some easier trades. Space I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Velo. Let's see what comes of this. People are asking about news. Anthropic seeks Google to back lease payments. That comes from the information. Anthropic pursues first data center leases information. Anthropic seeks Google to back lease payments. Anthropic is reportedly pursuing its first ever data center lease. We know that they don't own any of their own data centers, hence AWS, hence XAI, hence Google. But that's what they're asking about right now. So I don't see anything geopolitical coming in. This is mostly Anthropic, Google related. Looking for a good daddy. Good one there, design. That is quite funny there. I think, look, man, Anthropic's done well. I gotta chapeau to them, because I was averse to using Claude because I didn't like this doomerism approach. Who's heard of the argument regulatory capture, right? You create, fear amongst lawmakers so that they regulate the industry. You then get the regulations that you want to the exclusion of your competitors, right? And I felt that that was kind of their move, that they were employing this regulatory capture strategy. That pissed me off. I didn't like that, right? So I tried to stay away from them on a principled basis. But when Brendel made me use this thing for work. And when I used it, I was like, okay, principles went out the door. No, it's actually quite good. And I know O'Leary was saying the same thing this morning, and I'm more in agreement. I couldn't be with him on that, because it's just quite good. It hallucinates still, though, like some other LLMs, but far less. And I find it, ironically enough, I find it to be less guardrailed than chat. I don't know how the hell that works. Wasn't chat supposed to be kind of that freewheeling one, and it was supposed to be Claude, who's the more reserved, more conservative of the LLMs? I don't feel that that's the way anymore. And I gave the example of the peptide research that I was engaging in. Chat refused to give me any information on peptides. Like, that's not legal for that use. I can't give it to you. And Claude's like telling me exactly how to dose and when to take it. And it was fantastic. So that's kind of my little spiel there. There goes Velo into the other print through 30. I get the 30.11 print there, but there's no continuity right now, sadly. into 30.44. I'm going to continue to hold. If we fail 30, I stop out, likely through the $0.5. Added a couple of times on this one, so we got a good position. We got 29.07 on right now, Joey. Let's see if this cookie crumbles in a good way, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what this whole thing does.
All right, man. Good stuff. Yeah, MF Dangerous. We're straight, man. We're good over here, brother. We're just watching the market kind of chop around. Obviously, we had a little bit of a volatility spike. Not surprised by that. We get out right here, guys, 12.26, and it did climb a little bit higher, but didn't breach this specific zone. So keep an eye out on that, ladies and gents. I don't know how you guys have been feeling. Haven't seen Jesse in the chat. I know
I saw him. I saw him earlier.
This morning,
Jesse Hernandez?
Hernandez. I haven't seen Jesse in the chat this afternoon. Since the midday started, you might be at the beach or something. I know Blicky Spears went and ate some oatmeal. What I'm trying to do is...
You like oatmeal, Joey?
No, I don't.
You don't actually like oatmeal, eh?
No, I'm not a big, I was never a big oatmeal guy.
You don't like throwing on any cinnamon or anything on that bad boy? And
No.
maybe a little sweetener too so it doesn't taste like cardboard?
No.
You're not about that life?
No, I'm not.
That's okay.
I was never about that life, man. I always like.
It's good carbs though, and it's like slow, sustained release energy, so you don't get it all, like the sugar rush kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit different. It's more like just steady state. I don't have it, but like when I did have it, I
used
like
to eat it as a kid and stuff.
more as like a young adult. Like when in the bulking days, I would definitely have that every morning.
Every morning?
Yeah, every
Right
morning.
on, man.
And I like the Quaker oat one, Joey.
Yeah, Quaker Oats, that's the route that you would have to go.
Green apple.
The strawberry one?
Cinnamon,
Strawberry, right? There's more. What else? Well, I'm missing some
Okay.
flavors, Chad. I need your help, man.
I'm telling you, man, I've already had 2 coffees today and about 3 things of water. I'm just
Get it, Joey.
a faucet at this point. I got to the washroom. Anyways, what I don't even know what I was talking about. Actually, yeah, let's get into it. OTKL. Can we get 1,000 likes? Thank you. I don't know what OTLK
like
stands
cereal.
for, but I appreciate you. $2. Ray for president for sure. Where is Ray Ray? I've always been curious where Ray Ray is at. We only seen him for 1 day, and then he's been out of here.
cousin?
Ray Ray?
Yeah.
No. Do you know who Ray Ray is?
Ram, is Ray Ray your cousin?
Child.
Child.
Oh my days.
Oh, okay. You know who Ray Ray is, right?
When did Ram conceive?
Maybe that when she was gone, remember?
Just like the wedding she didn't invite us to.
Yeah, that's
Remember
crazy.
that one,
That's
Joey?
crazy work. Yeah, man.
Remember when she got married and nobody got an invite?
Nobody got an invite, man. I didn't even listen. She just has a half drink and mango juice in the fridge that I've been on for the past couple of days. So we'll see how that one's going. But anyways, aside from that, what I was getting at here, guys, I'm trying to build my my parlay leading. Oh, she has it right there. Oh, is that a fresh
she's
one?
bringing it.
That's a fresh
It's a
one.
sealed one.
It's a sealed one.
You like doing this?
Dude, it's mad as well. Yeah, everybody likes doing that, bro. We're all wearing white right now. Why is it why is it as warm as it is outside? We got to put this in the fridge here.
Oh, it mixes it up, Sia.
It mixes it up, and then you can just.
You're muted, Sia. You're muted.
By the way. We're trying to get this parlay going here, even though you're not going to be able to see it right now. But I told you guys, step 73 of the 3-step process is going to be the UFC 250 card.
Hold on.
Here,
Step 73 of the 3-step process.
Yeah.
It makes pure sense.
Yeah.
I had to recite that one in my head.
That's what I'm getting at, man. Sometimes not everything goes as planned, Sharif, so you add a couple of steps in between. And that's where we're currently sitting at.
Joe.
Yeah, that's where we're currently sitting at right now. So
Sorry,
I'm looking
I
forward
meant
to
to
that.
say that you were like, someone did that once and I saw a fail on YouTube and it just like.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was worried about.
That's what we're all
You're wearing white. I'm
Sean
wearing
did that
white.
yesterday too with his
What?
coffee. Like Sean's coffee just like splashed all up. We
Oh,
saw
well, yeah, I mean, it's Katina, man. I mean, if he can't splash coffee around here, then who can? You know what I mean?
He gets one right at the ripe time of 250. He goes for that little walk to go and grab his coffee.
Oh, well, absolutely.
250. Okay, anyways, aside from my rant, guys, I want to get back into these markets. Watch out for the picks that I got going on. I'll show you guys tomorrow, depending on how SpaceX IPO goes. Oh, I get that one.
Nice assassino.
Wow, Assassino.
A soccer reference.
That
I
is a
absolutely love it.
I loved it when
I like Luis Suarez, though.
When
He
Mario
trolls me hard in the
Maidana, when
chat.
Mario Maidana need that one guy, Remember we flying
Maidana,
Nita? Yeah.
It's Carlos Maidana.
Is it Carlos?
Yeah.
I want to say Mario like he's a boxer. That's crazy.
Hold on. Marcos
Man.
Maidana, man. Carlos,
Marcos
yeah.
Maidana. What are we even talking about?
Marcos
Remember
Maidana.
when he kneed that guy?
No, I don't.
No, I'm talking soccer here.
Oh.
Remember?
You're talking about Maradona.
Maradona. Yeah, Maradona.
My mind was switching to boxing. Diego Maradona.
Yeah, like shows you how much I know. Remember when he had that flying knee?
Dude, he's
Remember
better
that flying,
known
no?
for. I didn't see the flying knee, but I did see the hand of God. You ever seen the hand of God?
No, he's a.
No, dude, he scored a goal in '86 with his hand before they had camera, right? And then they beat England in the final, and the English hate him because of that. What's that?
It's fine. It's England.
It's fine. It's England, says Assassino. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, remember
That's so
you never
good.
seen that when they had that big brawl and he threw that flying knee and then like
Oh
KO'd that guy?
yeah. I did see that. What am I talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's what soccer players do. They kick.
They kick, bro.
They kick.
That's
yeah.
like, yo, you see European street fights, it's like everybody kicking each other.
Everybody
It's
kicking, Joey.
It's
I mean, like,
crazy.
That's the way it is.
I go, all right, man, I'm out of
Also
here.
seeing France after PSG won.
Where's this guy going?
I told you
What?
I'm out, man.
Hold on. Did I see? Oh, yes, I did. But what I also saw yesterday, Sia, was New York. Like, guys, what's happening in New York? Why are you guys beating up on the Spurs fans? Like, this is not a North American thing, right? That's the thing. Like, Europeans, they have hooliganism. They have to be monitored after the soccer game with a helicopter flying over so that they can see what the crowd is doing. That's not North American culture. Let's not bring that here. That is normal for us to actually sit beside, people who are opposed to us in the stadium. That's always been North American culture. I don't understand why it's changing.
I just want to know what happened yesterday. What happened with the Spurs? Did they lose? I didn't see the match.
So they lost, but they were winning, and it was like one of the biggest comebacks, I think, in NBA Finals history, where the team that was losing was New York, the Knicks. They came back from like a huge deficit. So.
Yeah, I feel like no shade, but I love Spurs. Spurs are a great team.
As long as you don't like Tottenham Hotspur, if you don't like those Spurs, you're good in my books. The second you like Tottenham, Sia,
Oh, Tottenham.
Juan and I are likely not going to speak to you again.
No, don't worry. Tottenham, you know what I support. So.
I know you like United. Yes,
Stop
I know
it.
you like United. Get it, Sia. Thank you for coming in. All right, there's one beat. Did he actually get egged? Oh, my days. That's not bad. Adil halted down. Ruby losing trend, but Bovin has told me about a new one here. And it goes by the ticker. Who are we going to take off here? We're going to take off Adil. CHAI. Thank you, Bovin, for this one. Looks like Case got stopped out of CHAI. Guys, you're going to encounter this a lot. I'm trying to mention this. If you guys make money, I couldn't be happy for you. But right now, the small caps, they have no continuity. It feels, I'm just saying what I feel. It feels like we are being lured into the trade vis-a-vis a big breakout, but there's no follow through. And it ends up dropping, and then we get stopped out. So if that's going to be the continual characteristic of these small cappers, I'm going to stay away. I've seen a lot today fail, RUBI, CHI. There's a lot on my side chart that I've removed as a result of that. So, pardon me. MNTS, though, guys, looks fantastic. Sorry, Assassino, can we throw that super on again? I didn't get a chance to cover it. Thank you, brother. All right. Luis Suarez, hey guys, have you ever heard of a stock called Palantir? What is that? I like this guy, bro. He makes fun of me a lot. He told me my belly was sticking out of my shirt.
Yeah, I remember that. That was last week.
Joey. Yeah, I didn't really know what to make of that, but I was like, all right, man. Yeah. But thank you, Luis, for that. Brother, did you get to watch the Palantir interview with wasn't Morgan Brandon, it was Sarah Eisen, I think, at CNBC. Did you happen to watch that? What did you guys think of that? Because I think that's the latest interview we got with the Herod one lately, because he hasn't been, he hasn't been
that active, man, to be honest with you. What's his boy's name? Lonsdale there?
Joe Lonsdale.
Yeah, Joe Lonsdale is definitely.
I like Joe Lonsdale.
Joe, you see more active than Alex has.
Yeah.
He's always on
X.
CNBC.
And he's on X, too.
Yeah, he's on CNBC, I feel
X.
like, at least once a month or something. So.
Yeah, well, there we go. Shout out to you guys in the chat. All right, man. I like you anyway, Louise, bro. You're good vibes, man. All right, here we go. Velo's coming down, guys. It's bleeding its own blood, as the optioned one would say, and it's coming into a technical area, though. So here's what my thinking is. 2940 seems to be, for whatever reason, a local area of prior resistance. Let's see if it acts as support. The last 3 minutes is defended off 2940, but it hasn't put in any area highs, higher highs. So I feel like maybe we got a lower high here vis-a-vis that 30 touch and drop, because the previous area high was 30.44. We couldn't quite make it up there. So I don't like this one at the moment. Nicole Harris from the beautiful city of
Jersey.
Hotlanta.
I'm from, she says NJ. She just said
That's crazy. I used to know you were from Atlanta. When did you move, Nicole? That's crazy. And Nicole, I'm 90, okay, fact check me, Nicole. Were you ever from Atlanta? Am I completely off on this one? I'm from New Jersey. You know not to wear the opponent's gear to Philly or New York City. Philly fans used to be worse. I saw them flip the Giants bus. That's crazy. Go AMC, go SPCE. I like the SPCE trade. Get on you, Nicole. Shout out. She's giving a little bit of advice there for everybody, I guess, that that wants to go to a game in either one of those cities, because, well, you're going to have to put up with some flat. I kind of knew that about New York, though. You knew that about New York and Philly, and then Oakland as well. Yeah. Don't mess with the Oakland fans. She answered.
Bro,
on
New
screen,
York,
Sharif, I live in Atlanta.
Oh,
Gotcha,
okay.
I gotcha.
Oh,
Thank
Atlanta.
you, Nicole. Yes, because I knew I wasn't out to lunch on that one.
The Knicks, the New York, the first home game, the mayor's already like, all right, guys, there's no more outdoor watch parties. Like, come on, like, show some. The Knicks, the New York Knicks fans.
Oh, yeah?
The mayor banned outdoor.
Zoran?
Yeah,
Zoran banned
So,
them?
like, think about Jurassic Park here. He's like, yeah, that's not happening in New York.
Come on, Zoran?
Well, I mean, these guys just destroy everything. You can't have anything nice over there because
What rhymes with Zoran, Joey?
It doesn't start with an M, that's for sure.
I love it. Oh, come on now.
Goro.
Guys, MNTS is moving here, guys. MNTS is moving. It's looking real good. To be quite honest with you, there's not a lot looking good right now, at least in my world anyway. MNTS through 15.5. We saw the move into 1588 earlier, but if this candle, this current 1250 candle closes in this way, this will be the first time it closes above 1550. So a hell of a move back here off 1450 into 1550 on MNTS, looking awfully bull-flaggish. So we'll see if this one can kind of continue to hold up. I'm going to continue to hold VELO, but let's cover this super chat here for Film World 4787. When Meta 700.
$2 euro, so that's
brother.
4 CAD pretty much.
Say that again, Joey?
2 euros, so that's almost 4
Yeah,
CAD.
thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say 20 CAD, Joey.
No, it's close.
All right, let's look at Meta.
Oh, did you see in the chat the other day, we were talking to Katina Man, I don't know if you were here, Katina Man and I were talking about just how if you were to come up from the States, you get pretty much 40% more money, right? So some guys like, yeah, I bought a beer.
You really want me to go down this road?
Yeah, we're going down there.
I have a lot of opinions.
So this individual in the chat's like, yeah, I came to Canada and I bought a beer. I handed the bartender a $20 bill and got $21 back. So he made money.
Bro,
That's great.
bro. I got a vent.
Yeah, vent.
Okay,
I'm ready.
they make more money, not just because they have a stronger dollar. The number is higher than the number here with a weaker dollar. They pay less taxes.
Yep.
Okay, you want more?
Yeah, I got
They
all
have a
day.
stronger currency.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, right? Like, you can make, okay, some of the social safety nets aren't what they are here, and that I have to agree with, right? Yep. If you're caught offside there, not to use a soccer pun, but if you are caught offside, sometimes you got to fend for yourself. True?
Oh, okay, is that what you're getting at there?
I'm just
With
saying.
like if
right?
it
But
goes
isn't that
down?
the truth, though?
Yeah,
right?
for some parts,
we've seen
yeah.
some people with medical bills that just are eye-watering,
Yeah,
and
but
that,
but
you know, that they go into debt because of these huge medical bills.
But so many of the people, like, so I have friends that live in, obviously you have your sister, but they pay health insurance, which covers.
But not everybody does.
Not
right?
everybody
And I
does.
know that
Yeah,
Obamacare tried to get everybody to,
Yeah.
you know, participate in that whole thing. But let's cover this because we didn't say anything about Meta yet. So Meta is in a bit of a downtrend here and has been, I think, since it made all-time highs, which was August of last year. And this is kind of the downward channel, right, that we've been suffering from on Meta for a while. Now, there's a lot that's not good about the chart, namely the downward channel, and namely that you're below the 200 moving averages, both exponential and simple. The simple showing about 660, the exponential showing about 640. I don't like the lower highs. The lower highs is obviously part and part of this downward channel. What I don't want to see is a loss of this area here, and that's the tariff tantrum, right? Who recalls, obviously, the 450 print? Did we get a 466 print there on Meta? And that's a repeat offender area, that 466. Like, look how many times we've defended that over the years, ever since taking it out in early 2024. So a loss of, you know, that level definitely makes me worry. Now, you're asking about when 700. Well, when this downward channel breaks, brother, and breaks decisively. Now, that could come from many different things. We've talked about how Zuck is looking now possibly at getting into the cloud business. Perhaps CapEx slows down because I think a lot of these mega caps have been penalized by the market because of their CapEx spend. So I think if we start maybe, or there's a technical achievement somehow that allows you to run these large language models and agentic AI, but with less compute and therefore less CapEx, I think we could certainly see some money flowing back in. You got to remember what these names were before the AI age, right? They were asset-light names, relatively speaking, to revenue, of course. Of course, they had data centers that they had to run their compute on, but relatively speaking, they were asset-light. That's not the case anymore. They're very much asset-heavy, and so there's a repricing, a reweighting of all of that. And so I think that if that narrative changes, perhaps you see some money coming back into that. That's just my opinion on that, and we have to go to see at the big desk.
Yeah, this just coming in, Iran's top joint secretary, military command, my apologies there, saying contradictory U.S. behavior is the main cause of instability in region, especially in the Strait of Hormuz. If U.S. attempts to carry out attacks against Iran, again, it will receive a response more severe than before. This coming from Iran's top joint military command.
All right, yeah, good thing. That's exactly what it is, man. It's just a he said, she said, back and forth tennis match. It's hard to believe because you're not actually physically over there, and you can only go by with what some of the media and Donald Trump have to say. So you can't take everything for as it is, or as what is said. All right, back and forth. Yeah, it's true, man. You have no idea what's true because you have one country saying one thing and then the other saying the other. So there's a little bit of a gray area within that.
100% agree with that.
It's like, dude. You can't really do anything about it. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Gas pumps are still relatively high. I don't know how much that's having an effect on groceries. Finally, get some discounts over there at Farm Boy. But anyways, aside from that, guys, the market's starting to come back in a little bit. Here you can see that it's been, I mentioned this countless times and time again, we're gonna see NVDA be relatively weak. And I thought a long time ago it was gonna be hard for the market to climb higher, which wasn't the case if this wasn't performing at its best. It's already proven that as long as Google, Apple continue to move higher and some of the other ones, we don't really need this, right? Well, I mean, you do. Obviously, the better that it performs, the better the overall market can perform. But it's a spitting image of what happens in the NASDAQ here compared to NVDA. It's almost identical price action. So we are following each other. Not necessarily the same thing with Oracle, consistent lower highs. We're going to be talking about that momentarily as we fire up the news. There it is, $177, and looking like it wants to head a little bit lower. And Tesla couldn't get out of its own way. No breakup here or a test of the high of the day. We were talking about a potential lower high at this specific zone. We got it, and then now we're heading at some key support, heading towards some key support levels, something that we'll keep an eye on. Am I going to be selling the lower end of the range? No, I don't believe this is the market environment to do so. And who knows what's going to happen at any given moment. We have to be prepared when trading these large cap names that Donald Trump or Axios or anybody along those lines can spit something out that can move the market. So we have to be prepared because it happened to us yesterday when he decided to truth out something that I was just like, okay, completely unnecessary, and then shortly after, you have the market climb right back to where it was before. And Robinhood is the name that I was referring to. And I was just frustrated with myself because this would have been a big time day for us if we had the ability to sit through some of this volatility spike and then proceeds to climb a little bit higher. But when you have tight stops in this environment, you can't get wicked out. You can and you will get wicked out. But what we do have here, Sharif, is American Airlines on the top of our, near the top end of the list here. From a volume standpoint, American Airlines, well, they're just praying that oil prices start to come down because the cost of fuel is really starting to hit up these guys. And they're not enjoying them. Yeah.
Because you know I'm going to Colombia. So like I have.
You're flying AC, no?
No, Qantas. Qantas?
Oh, is it?
No, hold on. Hold on.
Colombian
I'll tell
airline?
you. Yeah, give me 1 second. Kayak. No, it's not Qantas. It's not that. Sorry, give me a sec. So trips, upcoming. There we go. It is Avianca.
Avianca.
My bad. Avianca. So I always like, you know how when you have the kayak planner, like it keeps updating the price. So I keep getting these messages. Oh, the price of your flight increased. Your price of the flight decreased, even though I've already booked it.
Yeah.
Right. But Joey, it's basically the same price it was prior to the war.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's
and
good,
this is not a short flight. This is a 6-hour flight.
That's a
6-hour flight, right?
Yeah.
6 hour
That's
there,
good.
6 hour 15 back.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's interesting because we were talking a lot about the fact that they were going to pass off the price of jet fuel right into the consumer. They're not going to absorb that.
Hell,
you know what I mean?
no.
But that's not what I'm seeing here right now.
But in the previous reports, I think like Delta and some of these guys,
they were hedged.
They were hedged. Yeah, they also stated though the cost of jet fuel is slightly increased.
It has.
Yeah, it has.
That's the thing. That's a fact.
But see, the thing is though, Sharif, a lot of
Avianca's cargo? Really? No, I'm pretty sure it's a real airline, buddy.
He said it's cargo airline.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
What are you
They have a
flying?
decent first class too.
Is that where you're flying?
Avianca? Yeah.
First
well,
class?
it's not like a real first class. It's one of those ones where like a bigger seat.
Yeah,
and
two
stuff
like
that.
the two seats.
Exactly.
With the bigger
it's not the
row.
diagonal one where you get
where
your own
get
thing. No.
Like a little boot cubby.
Eddie. Colombia does have some oil production. Yeah, I actually did know that, Eddie. I know it's not, of course, as much as Venezuela, but that is an interesting look there. Guys, I'm keeping an eye on MNTS as well. I see that, Bubin. Thank you very much, by the way. No, I'm pretty sure Avianca is just a regular airline, guys. Maybe they do have cargo as well, but.
I see these stories. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Yeah, do your thing, brother.
I'll stop talking about it.
What happened?
He told me to stop talking about
what?
My ex-girlfriend on NVDA.
I thought you were going to be serious there for a second.
No.
Like, is there an X talk coming on the midday here?
Yeah,
oh, my days.
That's crazy.
Oh, my days. How long you been with Selena?
4 years.
4 years?
Right.
That's crazy.
I was just about to say something that would have got me in a whole heap of trouble.
1 o'clock. Mark the time. We got to clip this.
Oh.
Don't worry. It's okay. What were you going to say, Joey?
No, get out of here. No, get this guy out of here.
Yes. Get it, Big Spile. Love it. First time caller, long time listener. I'm so confused. Joey's wearing his mom's blouse. I hate this guy. Why am I reading it? Joey's wearing his mom's blouse, and Sharif is wearing his mom's glasses. It dresses like your parents stay there. Leave us alone, man. We love you, but you're just such a bully, eh? Like he's a pretty good bully, but he's a Leo. Leos
He's a Leo?
Yeah, usually Leos are pretty. They're known bullies.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I
He is
mean?
a bully, man.
Yeah. So I love you. I love you, Big Spile. You're the man. I just stop trolling us though. How you been, brother? I hope everything is good. This is your time to shine right now. What do you say, Joe? What happened?
Drew Farrell's like, I can't concentrate when Joe has all that chest hair out. Bro, I don't have any.
Why is it open like that though? Like it's summertime, I get it.
Summertime.
You gotta have the hamburger hair, coming out there, like, the Miami style.
The Austin Powers.
There you go, my guy. There you go. You gotta get that. You gotta let it grow there, Joey.
Why are you looking so hard then, Drew Farrell?
By the way, I just have something to say.
But say it then.
That I was reading an article the other day that they're no longer only taking a head hair for hair transplants now. They're using neck. They're using. And they're using other sources of hair to kind of, you know, well, it's hair doesn't just grow on the head, Fabian.
Just say it,
Yeah.
Sharif. Say
Just
it.
because you have a head of hair that, you know, obviously doesn't require.
Say it. Say it with your chest.
I love, look at the chat now, man.
Say it
Look
with
at the
your
chat
chest.
coming in.
Say it with your chest, Sharif. Where are they taking the hair from?
You're taking it from your chest.
Oh, okay.
If you've
All
got
right,
it there,
all right.
right?
Getting some-
And the neck hair as well. I was
right.
reading an
Cut the
interesting
show is
article
right.
about that. Other sources.
other
I love when the chat gets involved like this. You guys are great, man. Bring it, but just keep it clean, man. Joe,
Yo.
is he just telling you to get? No, I'm not, man. I'm not
me what?
telling him at all.
Tell me, we're finished the thing. Tell me what?
It says, Joe, is he just telling you to get a wig? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Shout out to my man Eduardo.
I could go the toupee route.
That's crazy. I don't even want to hear that. That's crazy. Why would you want to do that when Turkey is a throw stone away?
Yeah. It's only a flight.
It's only like an 8-hour flight, whatever, 10 hours or whatever it is. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Take my down.
don't read.
Oh my days.
Bro.
No, we're not reading that, Big Spile.
You just did.
We can't, yeah, we're not gonna read that. That's that you're gonna get suspended there, Big
We
Spile,
need
for that. Love it.
Ramin, like someone blow up this guy's profile picture?
Don't do it, Ram.
We need a big picture because like we need a better idea of who we're dealing with here. He has Instagram. Give me
He
some
does have
photos.
Instagram.
Give me some photos of this guy off of Instagram.
I have him on
I don't
Instagram.
have this guy on Instagram, and it's just like, man, where
we
do we
selling
start? Like, I should. Anyways, aside from that, my dad got married in a wig, even though everyone knew he had been bald since he was 20. Says Ramin.
Why are you outing your dad
Yeah,
like that, Ram?
that is crazy. My
That is
dad's
crazy
been bald
talk.
since he was 22, so I mean, it was only a matter of time. Start trading, and then it's gonna just speed up that genetic gene there, maybe a little bit.
Straight up, or get rinsed on the SpaceX IPO. Take your pick, right? Like, no, but seriously, I was reading. Okay, I was reading an interesting article yesterday about, it was actually RC talking about this, and he was saying that he would write research that there could be 7.2 billion in exit liquidity on the initial print.
Yeah, we were talking about our boy said that this morning. Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary said the same thing?
mentioned that, yeah.
He said that?
Yep.
Okay, so that if we just assume that to be true, and I'm not saying it is true, let's just assume it's true. Do you think there will be an equal, if not more, bid at the open to outdo that minimum 7.2? What do you think?
So I think there's a couple of things that need to be answered within that. How much can retail actually obtain? We already know the answer.
30.
30%.
Yep.
So what does that amount to? And then if the answer is X amount of dollars, whatever it is at the open, are you going to see some form of float rotation? Because I think that's something that would need to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an initial dump and you just have that liquidity, that exit liquidity step in, and then you have the retail step in after that as well too. So I think that 30 billion or that 30% is what's really going to play because we know that the institutions have that lockout period.
They have the lockout period. Exactly.
They're not playing this, and they're not involved in this opening.
I want to bounce an idea off you.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've been thinking about, and then we're going to start the news shortly thereafter. This is what I was thinking about. Very, very strong anti-Elon sentiment last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Very, very strong anti-billionaire narrative currently, and you could say over the past few years as well.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
A very, very obvious story here is to say, let's increase the pool for retail so we can use them as exit liquidity, right?
Yep.
So that narrative kind of known by everybody, whether it ends up being true or not, those three pieces we all know. I think Elon probably is very alive to that.
Absolutely.
Here's my point.
Okay.
I don't think he can risk the PR damage if he launches SpaceX, rinses or have people get rinsed. He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But people, retail, get rinsed on the first print, the first day, the first 3 days, the first week, whatever.
Yeah.
So, do you think that Elon puts in a bid to keep a floor on the price so that that narrative doesn't play out and damage him even more?
You think he's going to buy? You think he's going to put in a bid?
7.2 billion is chump change for this guy.
It literally is.
25 billion, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
do you think that there's any sort of possibility where there could be a bid there to prevent the PR nightmare that would ensue if SpaceX drops 25% on the opening day?
Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to provide some clarity to, for me here, because what I'm not understanding is if we have a lockout period with Elon Musk who can't sell, the individuals in the cafeteria who are now going to be millionaires, and everybody else who's been in this name earlier since the private market, are they not locked out for 30 days?
90 days.
90 days.
Elon and the people who bought in the IPO round are locked out for 366 days.
Okay, so
there are other people that are not locked out.
There's other people. So then my question being, are they large enough to be like, hey, you talked about that 7-point-something billion, but the major shareholders are locked in for 90 days and 365 days.
Yes, sir.
So maybe there could be some form of excess demand there out of the open. It's so tough, Sharif, because we talk about this being the biggest IPO of all time. Fine.
Right.
But the fact that we don't know if this thing's gonna dump or anything along those lines, but it's gonna be so obvious that if this thing opens up at, say, $200 and then decides to rip at the first halt band, and we're like, oh, well, we all should have guessed. But there's just so much of this mixed air and this mixed feeling within this thing. So it's so tough to determine what's actually going to happen. Like, I mean,
you're not wrong on any of that, man.
Did we ever know whether it was Circle or anything that we were just gonna absolutely rip? But the fact is like, if we look at this from a hindsight aspect, are we gonna be like, oh, it's the biggest IPO ever, the most interest one, 30% of this float is for retail. Why didn't we just punch long right out of the gate? It's just such a weird position to be in.
A lot of great comments in the chat from you guys, from wishful thinking. Sharif, what do you, bad word. Yeah, that's actually makes sense. From Elon doesn't give a you know what about retail, and he doesn't care about the narrative. I think Elon will care about the narrative, whether he's able to do something about it or not. I guess that's, you know, some people would reasonably disagree. Theo Belfen, rules will prevent him from doing that. Can you elaborate a little bit? Is he prevented from buying at the open, in the open market, if he so chose? I didn't know that there was a specific provision that would be that would prevent him from doing that. I'd love to hear your take on that. Tag me in the chat, though, so that I can see your comment. But for now, it's 10 after 1. We're going to go to Sia and start the news.
Let's start the news segment. On my screen, I have Adara's Oracle's revenue by segment graphic. We miss her. I miss her definitely for this segment. But okay, let's dive into it. Oracle has beat on both earnings and revenue, reporting EPS of $2.03 versus $1.96 expected in revenue, currently coming in at $19.18 billion versus a $19.10 billion. Cloud continues to remain on the growth engine. Cloud infrastructure revenue has surged 93% year over year, and total cloud revenue has risen 47%, my apologies. The company has raised their first year 2027 EPS guidance to $8.05 above consensus, while maintaining an ambitious $90 billion revenue target. RPO exploded 363% to $638 billion, driven largely by the large AI contracts, with over half reportedly being tied to OpenAI. Problem, however, for investors continues to remain the spending aspect, and capital expenditures have jumped 162% to $55.7 billion. Free cash flow was another segment that was deeply negative, and Oracle has also announced plans to raise another $40 billion through debt and equity financing. And with that, Oracle, down on the day after this beat, 12.19%.
So I have some thoughts. Record top line revenue, 19.2 billion, never been that good on the quarter. And if you're looking at year over year comps, 21%, check there. Non-GAAP, underline that, non-GAAP EPS positive at 211, fantastic. How about OCI? That's Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, check. 93% surge year over year. How about the RPOs? They're well known for really showing aggressive RPOs. $638 billion in remaining performance obligations backlog. Fantastic, right? On the surface. Let's talk, though, about the bleeding of the free cash flow as a result of CapEx. So the media was quick to highlight, oh, they got $32 billion in operating income. Fantastic. But what does the free cash flow show? Negative
$23.7 billion. And that's, again, a result of, generally one source, and that's CapEx. Let's talk about what they've done, though, to alleviate some of the pressure because they've been spending so much money. I was talking about this story in the morning. Joey, $75 billion worth of their clients, people that will have their site hosted by Oracle.
Yeah.
$75 billion worth of orders purchasing NVIDIA GPUs, racks from who knows who, SMCI, Dell, maybe HPE. Their clients are buying the GPUs and then giving them to Oracle, and Oracle setting them up, and then the clients are using them. Like that's how crazy this has gotten.
Yeah.
That's how much strapped a lot of these companies are. Even Google, man, they're raising, right?
Yeah.
We've seen that. So $75 billion of the RPO consists of customers either paying or prepaying, I should say, for their hardware or buying it outright, and then essentially forcing clients to act as like Oracle's upfront supply chain bank. So that's one thing there. Sia mentioned the $40 billion that they're going to have to spend in 2027. Market doesn't like that, of course, because, again, it shows aggressive CapEx. Also, their margins squeezed a little bit here. That's why I said underline GAAP, non-GAAP earnings. When you look at their GAAP earnings specifically, full-year gross margins stepped down by about roughly 500 basis points, about 5%, due to the astronomical overhead, of course, of AI. So that is kind of my look there. Just before we send it to Joey, let's see what some people are saying here. E-Trade just closed my request to buy SpaceX. I guess I'm not part of the 1%, says Luis Suarez. I'm sorry, brother. Perhaps you should think about moving your money to a place that treats you a little bit better. Oh. There's plenty of places in the United States to do that. Jackie Bubkiss, love the name Jack Bubkiss, love it. Sharif, Elon is not technically prevented from buying at the IPO open, but significant buying could be seen as insider trading. It's safer for Elon to do nothing. He will not be buying. Interesting take there, brother. That's actually a really interesting take. I don't know if it would be necessarily insider buying, though, but I see your point there. Just to bring it back to Oracle, Joey, thoughts?
Yeah, no, same thing, man. Like, again, we talk about this name in their RPOs and how much they actually have to spend in order to meet those obligations. I mean, you're seeing it across the board. When you have these insanely cash-heavy companies like Google looking to raise some funds, and there's something that you obviously want to raise an eyebrow to that. But one thing that I will note, and I think that's been swept under the rug, is that Oracle is also going to host TikTok on its cloud, which I think is a big-time revenue stream that is understated, and we don't even talk about it anymore because that whole China and ByteDance scenario has been swept under the rug. But what I also want to talk about with multi-cloud revenue jumping a whopping 404%, I'm not saying that Oracle is going to be this the next big thing. That's not what I'm getting at, considering they have a significant amount of RPOs remaining, and that's all tied in with OpenAI, and it depends how Sam Altman and company are going to start to perform. And we know that they've been lagging. They didn't hit that monthly active users goal that they were looking at, but they're not too far away from it. All right. Sharif also brought up the point that, hey, you're not meeting these levels that you're supposed to be hitting within OpenAI. Where's that money going to not go, essentially? And you have to take into consideration these big obligations that Sam Altman and company has signed with multiple corporations. Now, we also know in Amazon, they've depleted about 85% of their free cash flow as well with their AI build-out. But I will tell you this one thing right now, and this is where I firmly stand.
Okay.
You are not going to see Sundar Pichai, you're not going to see these individuals at Amazon Web Services spending this type of money and raising funds if you don't think on the backside of things that these major corporations are not going to see some form of substantial ROI. I think you have another thing coming to you, because there's no way in God's green earth, Sharif, that might be crazy, that these guys aren't going to start to see some form of
I hope
return.
so, Joe. I think we do definitely see it. But
I don't think it's hope so, dude. We are. Look at what Google's doing. 900 million monthly active users, really starting to close that gap within OpenAI.
My concern comes down to one thing. If there's a technical advancement that makes running these models a lot less onerous on compute. If all of a sudden you can do a lot more with less, then they'll have spent so much. That's my only concern.
And there will be. And I believe it was Mark Zuckerberg and company actually created something where the token use or the actual compute needed was drastically changed at some point. That's
actually a good point.
Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
as the technology evolves, sure enough, you will get that this compute is going to cost significantly less, but we're not at that stage right now.
No. There's breaking news, so let's go to Sia.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just keep an eye on USO here. Iran Defense Ministry is warning that any attack on Iranian territorial integrity will meet a decisive response. Repeating that, Iran Defense Ministry warning that any attack on Iranian territorial integrity will meet a decisive response.
Thank you very much, Sia. There was also other things as well, guys. Partially locked down and evacuated after hazmat monitors detected possible air quality issue. Hazmat teams from the Pentagon and Arlington County fired. What is this? Pentagon. The Pentagon. Oh my days! I thought that was in Iran. Okay. I was like, or in the Middle East. Okay, so everything's good there. All right. Yeah, let's go back to Sia for the next story.
Yeah, let's take a look at the next story. We're going to talk about MSFT. Microsoft is reportedly preparing major layoffs across its Xbox division next month. Reports are suggesting that the cuts could exceed 1,000 jobs, employees, and potentially include certain studio closures as well. Internal memos of the company have revealed that management is launching an Xbox reset, which cites more than $20 billion invested into content platform as well as in hardware. Over 5 years, an annual revenue has declined roughly $500 million. Executives have warned of a hardware cost crisis as well. Key component costs for 2027 are expected to be more than 5 times higher than just 2 years ago, and management is now openly discussing the potential of new hardware partnerships and alternative console business model, signaling a potential shift away from the traditional Xbox strategy. Microsoft currently down on the day, 3.25%. I'm a bit sad. I'm a big Xbox fan. That was a big part of my childhood, and that's just sad to see that.
That's all right, Sia. I mean, you know, it's everybody takes their time in the sun. Look, Asha Sharma, she was brought in to kind of take the helm here. She's not a gaming background person. She's an AI person. That should give you the idea of what they want to make Xbox, right? It's going to be, sadly, I was speaking to Fabian as well. And Fabian was giving me this kind of very, very gloomy look at gaming right now. He's like, a lot of the studios are releasing games that are not being well received, and when they release them, they're almost immediately followed by layoffs. They're looking basically at cutting expenses. Human expenses seem to be where they're going. So I feel like their whole shift here in the gaming sector. But just to bring this back to Microsoft, all this here, this thousands of jobs that are going to go, it's going to happen immediately following the close of the fiscal year, June 30th, 2026 this year. Expected to include as well in these layoffs severe marketing, budget slashing, and potential studio closures. That builds in to what Fabian was telling me, that, you know, you're seeing a lot of, downsizing in that area. I also want to talk about, the weakness in the software sales. So Sharma's internal, she had a memo that leaked. She dropped it internally, but it ended up leaking. She explicitly blamed a massive hardware component pricing crisis driven by big tech's huge build out in AI. So what she's trying to blame the margin compression on, she's saying, look, RAM is costing a lot, hardware storage is costing a lot, computer components in general are costing way more. In fact, it's forcing Xbox to pay 5 times for the same component that they were just paying for 2 years ago. 5 times what they were paying 2 years ago. So that obviously eats into margins. That's her position. I'm not saying that that's accurate, but that's what Sharma was saying. As well, there's also about a $20 billion negative yield. So over the past 5 years, and excluding the Activision Blizzard merger, Microsoft has poured over $20 billion into content, into hardware subsidies, ecosystem expansion, only to watch the annual baseline revenue drop by $500 million. So you throw $20 billion at it, and then your top line ends up dropping by 500. What kind of ROI is that?
That gives you an idea of the kind of headwinds they're facing. Last but not least, there's kind of this vendor reliance infrastructure purge. What do I mean? In her internal memo that was leaked, she noted that the current platform infrastructure was weighed down by hundreds of tangled dependencies and massive over-reliance on external third-party vendors, meaning that the upcoming layoffs are going to be very heavily targeting some, contract-heavy positions, auxiliary IT teams, all to kind of reinforce that internal push, Joey. But I feel like you bring in an AI person into Xbox, your next move is you want to start designing games using AI. That's where my mind goes immediately.
Yeah, PlayStation 5, PlayStation's greater than Xbox. Anyways, we're going to send things off to Sia. I'm going to have that hot take. We're going to take, we'll take a look at what we got going on here momentarily. Sia.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. So U.S. energy executives have warned the White House that oil reserves being used to help contain the impact of the Iran conflict on energy prices are running dangerously low, according to CNN. Just saying U.S. energy executives warning U.S. White House that oil reserves and of the Iran conflict on energy prices are running dangerously low. And also, keep an eye out on the S&P. It might, and it is certainly erasing gains right now, turning a bit to the negative side. Just watch out.
All right, so yeah, just in regards to Microsoft, we can talk about this Xbox story, but a lot of the gaming world is moving into the PC. So, I don't know, we'll continuously see these new generations of consoles, but more and more people are starting to adopt actually computer gaming. So I'm not saying that they're going to be completely phased out. That's not the case. You have some big games in the pipeline, and you'll see probably a little bit of an influx at that point. But nonetheless, what I really want to talk about is Copilot. I think Copilot is really hovering over this specific name, Microsoft, that is, and why we haven't been performing that well. It is probably one of the worst large language model tools there is out there, and I personally like it. But one thing that I have read, and I do believe, is that we're kind of underplaying this, and it might be a little bit of a dog, to be honest with you, because 25 million or more monthly active users are apparently supposed to come into the next report, which will give it a substantial bounce, right? We're sitting around, I think it has around 30 million or 300 million monthly active users, a little bit less than that, maybe even half to be exact, compared to what some of these other participants are using. Obviously, the Geminis and the ChatGPTs and OpenAIs, Anthropic as well too. When you just have that linear and exponential growth, that's not necessarily the same case for Copilot, but we're understating what may be coming. They also have paid tiers within this platform as well too. So I do like what we have. Azure, it's hard to count out, but when you're spending as much money as Microsoft is, like these hyperscalers, and you don't have the participants in the tool that you're actually using to build it on, you can run into a little bit of trouble, and I think that's the weight that's hovering over this stock. But let's not throw Microsoft behind us right now, because Copilot we have the ever so changing dynamic of these LLM tools. I wouldn't be surprised if you have some names that have been lagging decide that they're going to take a couple of spots.
And when you and I spoke about SpaceX, you countered and you said, look, I'm also interested in the Anthropic. I'm also interested in OpenAI. And what I said to you was, I feel it's a lot easier to become the premier model, right? We've seen this back and forth. Gemini's at front, OpenAI, now it's Anthropic. They keep switching. I think it's a lot harder to be the #1 space company than it is to be the #1 Anthropic. So to bring it back to your point, you have a very, very well structured point there in that you never know. Copilot gets the right people on the team, they make the right moves, all of a sudden they're back in the mix and we're not laughing at them anymore.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do because they haven't done it. And we're 3 years deep in this, almost 4. This fall will be 4 years, right?
I still believe we're in the infancy of this.
I agree with you. It's like saying the internet was ripe in 2000,
right?
Not even, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're not going to count Meta out as well, right? Like we know MuseSpark is probably hot garbage, but Mark Zuck is doing a couple of things, and I talked about not too long ago when we were going over the Oracle scenario, how he's finding ways to be more efficient while using compute. Right, like compute equals token, and he's looking to become more efficient, so the cost isn't as crazy. But I do still believe, considering this guy is amongst the top in capital expenditures, that if he doesn't get something and find a way to monetize relatively quick, that he can fall into a Metaverse 2.0 scenario, which I think we're kind of on, as Sharif would say, the precipice of that. Really, really close, because no one uses Muse Spark, and no one even uses the other tools, which can be extremely dangerous. And if you're spending all this cash and there's no return on investment, at the end of the day, it can turn into a horrible, horrible situation.
Well said. Thank you, Adam, for the $2 super chat. Smash Bros, what's up?
Who said that?
NTCL. Yo, the hell yeah, this is it right here, Assassino. Let's show him the chart. Bleeding its own blood. It was at $3 just, a few hours ago at 11:30. Halted, where it halted multiple times, or just one, sorry. But it is now down into 23 pennies, and this is why. Press release. NetClass Technologies, Inc. expands AI multilingual assessment market and international strategic partners. Really? Hold on, let me double check that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So the drop came when? Came at 11:55, so this has to be subsequent to that. No way. So I don't have anything. I have nothing. Look, the last news item, 9:12 a.m., okay? And then all the other different areas or the entries here are just volatility, pause due to volatility, resume trading, paused. So NTCL, I don't have news on. Let's go up to Sia.
Thank you so much, Sharif. So reports coming in that Israel has reportedly raised its alert level and preparing contingency plans at the moment, amid concerns that any new U.S. action against Iran could trigger retaliation across that region. And reports are citing Israeli officials say that the U.S. has asked Israel to not conduct any independent strikes on Iran for now, with Washington preferring to handle any immediate military response itself while pursuing these negotiations, the keyword being for now.
Thank you very much, Sia.
Yeah, Gaurav reload. Oh, wow, something just stepping into the market there as we get some volatility spikes, guys. Sorry.
The upside, downside?
Yeah, upside, man. There goes Tesla breaking through at the low of the day. We're going to talk about it momentarily. A bunch of trend lines being breached. There it is now, heading towards the high of the day. Guess what your boy's going to do here momentarily? Someone said, hey, why aren't we trading? We're going to trade momentarily. And don't forget, real trading, you don't always have to be in a position, ladies and gentlemen. A big-time move as the SPY and the NASDAQ go and test the high of the days there, Sharif. NVDA, Gaurav, bang. There it is for my boy. We'll hit the...
Trump calls off Iran strikes.
Bang.
Trump calls off Iran strikes.
Bang.
So there you go. Trump calls them off. That is being reported by ORCL, NYSE, okay? I haven't seen that from anywhere else quite yet. We'll get that to you as soon as we see it. But that is what's being reported right now, that President Trump is calling off the Iran strikes. Taco. I love it. You guys are so joking. Guys, it can't be Taco if he's already started the war and we're 3 months deep into the war.
The market is going nuts right now.
But I'm good with this, man. I'm good with this. Let's go.
Holy cow. Well, this is what we want. This is what we we're looking for all day. We just needed one. Why did it have to come in at 1:30? Just one ridiculous ass truth. Yesterday, this guy's talking about blowing them to pretty much non-existence. Now they're not doing it. Taco, are we going to you, Sia?
No, I think she was
she's saying, guy, yeah, 5%. Bang, there it is. Feels great to be out of this one. Taco trade is right. The man needs to...
No way. We got a deal. It looks... Okay, let's go to Sia.
Let's go over there. Deal.
Yeah, this is just coming in. U.S. President Donald Trump saying the market has gone to a bit of a downside right now, saying that the naval blockade will remain in full force in effect until the transaction is finalized. That's all.
Trump, Trump.
Look at Tesla.
Time and place of signing to be announced shortly. That is being reported by Walter Bloomberg. Time and place of signing to be announced shortly. That is what he's saying. This is what Walter Bloomberg is stating. Says he has... Okay, let me see. It's on his Truth Social. Thank you. I got it right here. I got it. Here it is. I'll read it. Based on the... You want to read this? You got it? Okay.
I don't mind. Go ahead. I'm just going to read this off real quick. President Trump saying that he's canceled the U.S. strikes and bombings against Iran scheduled for this evening. He stated that all parties have approved the discussions and final terms in principle and in detail. A naval blockade, however, like I mentioned, will remain in place until the agreement is finalized. Time and location for the signing ceremony will also be announced shortly. This coming from U.S. President Donald Trump.
Thank you very much, Sia. Let's read the truth in its entirety. Based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been, in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved, including the United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, and others. The naval blockade will remain in full force and effect until this transaction is finalized. Time and place of the signing to be announced shortly, and then he signs it with his position. See ya.
Yeah, keep an eye out on oil here, like badly to the downside. WTI crashing right now. Oil prices are dropping sharply after this announcement from US President Donald Trump of the cancellation of these strikes against Iran. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, cancellation. So hopefully we don't get something from the Iranian headlines, guys, saying no deal or we have no idea about what's going on here. But I mean, at the end of the day, there it is, a big time move. We were looking at this Tesla trade, the overall market. Thanks for pointing out USO here, Sia, because we're going to take a look at this name. Apparently the deal is done. It just needs to be signed on the dotted line. What is that going to do for the markets? We have Walmart and some of the staples to the top side, and we have the tech trade really starting to pick up its steam here. We'll head back into those. We'll see what we have. USO to the downside, guys. President Trump on social media says, I have canceled, once again, the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussion and final points have been, in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved. Naval blockade to remain in full. All right, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. Absolutely, we'll make sure you guys do that. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. How many of us are watching here today? But here is the headline. This being released, guys, True Social. President Trump on social media stating he is no longer going to bomb the Iranians this evening. And we have a lot of the tech names, once again, moving higher. USO to the downside. Sia.
USO to the downside. Triple Q's on the upside, gaining 1.3%. Keep an eye out. Again, U.S. stocks are extending these gains right after this announcement made by U.S. President Donald Trump about calling off these strikes on Iran this evening.
Yeah, I mean, no, listen, Brando, I'm at this point, I'm sick of the tacos, to be honest with you. I'm completely over them. Hopefully we can get this. Brendo just asked me if I would like a taco. I said no more tacos, too many of them. And essentially what we have here, guys, is hopefully a deal done. Taco Thursday. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be on Tuesday, so a couple of days late there. Says Iran will see that this is crazy. So I'll pull something up here. We're going to look at this headline here moments ago. This is at exactly 10:51 in the morning. Trump says Iran will get hit very hard, and then a couple hours later, there's no more bombing being had, which is good. You don't want that. But USO, once again, there's going to be a key support level right here, guys. 128. There could be a good potential downside move. Assassino made sure that you guys know to hit that like and subscribe. How many individuals do we have here watching us? 6,000. 6,000 of you watching, and only 476 likes. Let's get that up to 10%.
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
There you go. Thank you very much for that. Once again, we have the social media posts. We have USO absolutely just blowing USO. Blowing through some support levels at this point, Sharif.
Yes,
I was
sir.
saying how at 10:51, Trump stated Iran will get hit very hard. Then at 1:30, and then at 1:30, they are no longer getting hit very hard, which is good. Yeah, there you go. There it is. But no, in all seriousness, we got 1.25% here on NVDA. Apple holding up to 1 3/4, and then Google still to the downside, guys, and Microsoft. But how's our good friend TKO Holdings?
How's it doing, Joey?
We're up 2.4% here on the day. Sia, talk to us.
Bang.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for gold too, rising and still on the up and up spot. Gold has also risen 1.4% to the range of $4,100 per ounce.
Thank you very much, Sia. Should we mosey on over to the next story, Sia? What do you think? Yep.
Let's rosy on over to the next story because Meta cannot seem to catch a break. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has introduced a new legislation that would restrict social media access for all and everyone under the age of 16 years old, while also increasing accountability requirements for social media and these AI platforms. The announcement coming after the United Kingdom has explored similar restrictions and after Meta has already rolled out these enhanced teen protections across all their apps, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger. For Meta, the direct financial impact appears to be limited in the near term, but Canada, this is all because Canada represents a relatively small portion of the global advertising revenue. But here's the catch. The bigger issue is regulatory precedent and how and why. So if more countries adopt these age restrictions, if they have screen time controls, content limitations, engagement growth and advertising inventory are going to face pressure. And you know the term, every drop makes an ocean. If Canada does represent a small part of the advertising revenue in the world, if all countries come together and decide this, it's going to be a big issue. Well, with that, Meta down on the day, 1%.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I have a bunch to say. I really like how Sia really focused on the fact that this could create a regulatory precedent for other jurisdictions to follow. And case in point, of course, Australia led, and then, Canada followed here specifically, and with the European Union possibly also next. But I want to draw a couple of distinctions here between the Australian law and the Canadian law. So this new law, it's going to be called the Safe Social Media Act. It's going to legally bar children under 16 from creating or holding social media accounts. And then when it comes to LLMs, it's going to establish what they're calling strict baseline duty of care for AI chatbot operators. It's not going to be a blanket ban. But there is a lot of loopholes here. So in reality, the draft legislation includes a massive legal kind of backdoor. What am I talking about? So social media giants like Meta, like Google, like others, Snap, of course, and TikTok can obtain what they're calling an explicit, quote, satisfy government that they have built in proprietary, safe by design operational guardrails. We'll have to see how this new regulatory body adjudges that. So you may be able to have social media for those under 16, so long as, for example, they're prevented from seeing harms. Adults can't contact them. All the different things that we've been talking about here that need to be implemented in social media for younger children. So it's not a blanket ban if they can satisfy one of those requirements. And then there's also a kind of a break here between public opinion and what the government is doing. We have this pollster called Angus Reid, and they did a poll where 75% of Canadians felt that there had to be some sort of social media restrictions, but 72% felt that that restriction should be implemented by the parents in the household and not for the government to babysit parents who may have a different approach than what the government wants to take. So there is a little of this, a little of that. Where do you fall onto this kind of?
I guess some of the Canadian regulators never watched the Apple keynote the other day, Sharif.
What happened, Joey?
Because you've seen some of the safety measures that Apple's implementing within their apps as well too. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, I think with social media, we're starting to fall into the realm of, and it was compared to this, and I think it's a good comparison, is the cigarette and the tobacco moment, where you need to have a little bit more regulation in this stuff and who is actually having access to social media platforms. I mean, we went over some of the grading of what is prioritized from a standpoint of safety amongst children while using the app, and it was on the lower end of the spectrum. What Meta was prioritizing was political safety, which was you weren't allowed to bash politicians or be politically correct or anything along those lines. So, I mean, we've seen it already. Sharif mentioned the fact that you're seeing the measures come into Australia. You're seeing it happen in the European Union, and that's where I stand. It's essentially a tobacco moment, and he's having big-time issues, obviously, within California as well, too. A lot of lawsuits. You're going to see a lot of regulatory change within social media, especially amongst youth, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be the exact same thing, man. Once you turn 18, you can do whatever you want, but until then, Cell phones have been completely banned from schools because they're on social media, and the addictive aspect of these things it's very true. It's as true as it gets, to be honest with you.
Just before we go to see it, guys, got to remind you, for those who are coming in, because the market is moving, President Trump says he has canceled the scheduled strikes on Iran, and the time and place of a deal signing will be, quote, announced shortly. For those who are coming in, this is what the news is. This is why the market is reacting in this way. President Trump calling off the strikes and saying that he's going to announce the time and the place of the deal signing shortly. We'll see when that happens. Let's go back up to Sia.
Gold continues to be on the up and up, nearly like extending gains. Last up nearly, like I said, I mentioned before, it was up 1.3%. Now it's close to surpassing the 2% area, around 4,150 region. That's all. If you want to move on to the next story, you can do that.
Gold here, Joey.
3 hours ago, how do you go from we're going to blow these guys up and then 3 hours later?
The art of the deal.
The deals.
The art of the deal. If they don't believe that they're going to get clipped, then are they going to move? They have to believe that they're going to actually get clipped.
Okay, I see what you're getting at there. Yeah. Okay, he's calling they didn't call the bluff, is what you're saying. Yeah, that was good. That was good timing. Let's see what we got going on. We're talking about trading here a little bit here. Guys, as we have the TQQQ is about to head into a new high of the day.
Comments. I love these comments. And we're not going to block any of these comments, too. Like, honestly, just as long as you don't use swear words, bring it in, man. Whatever your opinion is, just keep the verbiage clean. Keep the wording clean. You can have whatever opinion you want. Let's go back up to Sia for the next story.
Before hopping on to the next story, just want to quickly mention that Waymo has announced a new $29.99 month invite-only membership program called Waymo Premier for their top riders. So what you get is a priority pickup ride savings, early access, and flexible cancellations. Very cool. And this will be provided to riders in San Francisco, LA, and Phoenix across the states. Let's move on to our next story, Tesla. Tesla has received an approval from Belgium to offer its supervised FSD, which is the full self-driving software, and marking the 5th European country to authorize this system. And this approval has followed a certain recent authorization that we saw. We reported it yesterday in Denmark, the Netherlands, Lithuania, and Estonia, showing certain accelerating regulatory acceptance all across Europe. So this has come in at a very good time. And Belgium's, as I said, approval time has come in much sooner than expected. Tesla's completed local testing requirements and worked through the country's approval process. With that, Tesla has spiked up today to up 3.2% at the moment.
And it's the best performing Mag 7 name on the day, Sia, far and away. 3 1/4 for Tesla, 1 4/5 for NVIDIA, and 1 3/4 for the dead one, Apple. And then Amazon up 4/5. But let me tell you something. I feel like maybe, I don't want to get you in on this as well, man.
Yeah.
Do you think the winds of change are coming for Elon on that continent? We saw the aggressive pushback when he endorsed President Trump, when he started going through the aggressive Doge cuts. His reputation on that continent, I would say, I don't know how you feel about this, it was at an all-time low. Are they starting to change their tune on Elon?
From what it was to something new. Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen sales were slowly starting to uptick.
That's why I'm trying to throw that point.
So, I mean, maybe, right? But I think maybe there's a couple of tailwinds. Maybe people are forgetting. They're like, hey, apparently people don't forget. But I have no idea what Doge has to do with the European Union.
I think it was sentiment, brother, about cutting, and they didn't like that kind of.
But it has zero effect on what happens over there. But I think there's a couple of things, Sharif. Hopefully this deal is done, but we have the uptick in registrations because maybe people don't want to pay these outrageous prices for oil as well.
But Joey,
so where are you going to head towards some of these electric vehicle
I'm about to tell you.
Yeah.
The Chinese EVs are proliferating on that continent.
Absolutely. But maybe it's just, I'm not going to call it a black swan, but maybe it's just more or less the ebb and flow. Because we know that Tesla held the majority of the market share, and then you have these Chinese EVs, and then you see their registrations go up triple digits. Well, when you're just getting into a new space and you're starting to take share from the top dog, obviously you're going to see that registration. But maybe people are finding out that, hey, these vehicles, and again, this is speculative, I have no idea. Maybe these vehicles aren't as good as we thought they were going to be.
The Chinese?
Yeah.
That's cap.
We don't know.
cap,
We don't know,
Joey.
Sharif. We don't know.
Dude, all the objective car reviewers, the American
They like them.
They
like
love them.
They like them. But then if that's the case, so then we have to look at it as a couple of things. Maybe they're not as good as they are, or people are sick of these heightened oil prices to where you fall into some of the EV.
That I definitely get behind, right? That I definitely get
Again, I don't know. I'm just putting that out there.
that's
I'm not saying that
Yeah.
the Chinese aren't. They're probably equally as competitive. We've seen inside these vehicles from a technological standpoint. They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
And just electrical. Like, let's be honest about it. The Chinese make very bad internal combustion engine cars. They're not good, okay? They've been in Egypt for many years. Taxi drivers use them because they're super cheap and you can just beat them up. But they're not good ICE engine makers. That's the honest truth. All right, let's take the super.
44
Paul's,
bucks.
78.50. He's dropping 22 euros in the chat, Joey. I think BS, big time misinformation. The deal seems to be to refer to a framework with other Arab nations. Signing probably is just the framework. I guess Iran will soon deny and say BS2. Beware of a pullback. Not that we haven't seen that before, Paul. Astute point by you, but I hope you're wrong. I'm not saying that you are, but I hope that you are, so we can kind of move this along, get back to focusing on the AI build out and when that bubble is going to crash. I want to hyper focus on that paranoia for a minute. I'm done with the Iran paranoia. I'm kidding, of course. FSD, guys, 14.3, very well spoken about, depending on what side of the political spectrum you fall, quite frankly. But from the reviews that I'm seeing online, and I haven't personally used 14.3, because last time I tested the Model Y, it was not 14. It's fantastic. A lot of people, Randy, you hear about this as well, 14.3, much loved? No. FSD? No. Really? I'm hearing the opposite. You're saying you're hearing bad things about it. Oh, you haven't heard about it. Oh, my bad. Okay. Yeah, people are loving it. I don't know. CP Kohi, $5 super chat. Hey guys, with these Trump swings in the market or markets in time past, which made you most money? Have you looked? Are you talking about like just big upswings in the market? I remember adding to my Apple position on the unwinding of the yen carry trade. And that was the best ad I think I've ever made for Apple because it tested a very key area of support, which was 160s. So I took the opportunity to do it then. Sadly, I didn't add this last time around when we had an aggressive sell-off. But I always find that if you get into the good names and you add to the good names, not the speculative names, on downturns, you're pretty much rewarded, within a month or two. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Again, the most money that I made was in the marijuana boom during COVID because I bought Moderna and Pfizer. And then NVDA throughout its growth cycle, I can't say that it's been my top because it starts with the marijuana boom in the teens, then it went to COVID in 20, and then it went to NVDA as a long-term holder there. So yeah, this up and down from a trading standpoint, not so much because just get wrapped here and there.
All right, New York NYP, what's NYP? New York something? New York Press, thank you. New York Post, that's it, thank you. New York Post reporter, Trump just told me an agreement with Iran has been, quote, pretty much all wrapped up, close quote. It comes after I exclusively reported this morning that Tehran submitted a finalized MOU to the Qatari mediators last night. That is coming in from the Financial Juice, quoting a New York Post reporter that had some sort of communication with President Trump. Just reading that, not vouching for the veracity of the statement, but just simply repeating what is coming in on the wire, Joey. So just want to mention that. I think we've done Tesla.
Yeah, we've talked about FSD. We're slowly getting the rollout in the European countries, right? We've seen Sweden get approval for that as well, too. I think it's just, listen, Kevin O'Leary said that bright and early this morning, is that this guy talks about things. We're not always sure about his timeline, but they get done eventually.
Exactly.
Eventually, this rollout is going to completely happen.
You're catching a three-story building on chopsticks, my guy.
No one's done that.
I mean, give
No
me a
one's
break,
done that.
man.
No
And hey,
one's,
man, we gotta pay some credit as well to Gwen Shotwell. You don't run an entire organization like that with an absentee, you know?
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
She's down in the dumps running this country, running this company all the time. So shout out to her as well. Just can't give Elon all the credit for that. She's been at the helm for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give Elon all the credit. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy's going to get things done, and it's only a matter of time until we get more and more countries adopting this technology, and I think it's going to benefit him at the end of the day.
Let's talk a little OpenAI, Sia.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about OpenAI announcing that it will acquire ONA. I mentioned this before in my segment, that it's a startup that provides cloud environments for AI agents. ONA's technology will be allowing OpenAI's coding assistant Codex to take on longer running tasks. This is said by the company. Companies did not disclose the terms of the acquisition as of yet. ONA's technology will allow OpenAI's coding assistant, like I said, Codex, to take longer running tasks. It will also help more organizations deploy these agents, which independently complete tasks on behalf of a user, into production.
This is the headline that I want to focus on today, Assassino, if I can put this on. OpenAI considers aggressive price reductions as Anthropic gains ground in the AI market. So not only did they previously concede, OpenAI that is, that they got it wrong by not going after enterprise, but now the area where they were dominating, which was consumer facing, they're going to have to take price cuts on because Anthropic is starting to, close the gap there. It just keeps getting worse and worse for this company. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys, I got to tell you as well, and I harped on this earlier, right? Anthropic was supposed to be that company that was trying to get regulatory capture, right? They were supposed to be the doomers and the ones that were going to put up the fence. That is not what is happening in real life. It is OpenAI that's blocking certain information for me that I'm able to get from Claude. Like, I think that they really need to see this through. And I use this product all the time. I'm very well aware of how it operates, right? And I use both. And my Anthropic chats are just like shooting up in quantity relative to my OpenAI or my chat chats, right? So I think that this is...
What's that?
Number one, how closely apart their IPOs come to market. That's one. Two, how each one is received subsequent to going public. If things keep going the way they're going, OpenAI is a short off the opening print and Anthropic is a long. I'm not saying it's going to be that way. I'm just saying, this is kind of where the wind is blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's like, listen, I believe that Sam Altman has whether it be with Oracle and some of the other cloud providers. My issue is that he needs to monetize. I understand that you have that paid tier system, but Sharif, to add to your point, man, like, hey, this was the first in class and one of the sickest tools that we've ever seen, but you have that leapfrog effect within, whether it be Gemini tools and with Anthropic, in which Sharif is mentioning. But let's not forget, this is the fastest growing tool and app of all time. It's not even close. I mean, this guy's looking at almost 1 billion monthly active users. That's why I'm not going to count him out. If he can find a way to monetize this correctly, I think that he can really take this whole space by storm. It's just that Sam Altman, just like Elon Musk at times, Sharif, people don't like what he's done or what he's doing. And that's totally fine. But I'm not going to put the business completely aside, and I understand that Claude is just one of the most fantastic tools that I've personally ever used, but I'm not going to count out the individual who's been first in class in there, because I think that gives you somewhat of an advantage. And when you have 1 billion people on your platform, not all in paid tiers, then you can definitely really take this this division by storm, in my opinion.
Right, man. Well said, Joey. Let's send it back to Sia, and we'll talk a little ASML.
Let's talk a little ASML. ASML's Terafab puts it at the center of the next AI manufacturing wave. So Elon Musk is expected to appear at ASML's technology conference to discuss Terafab, his proposed semiconductor manufacturing project that would eventually supply chips for Tesla, SpaceX, and Optimus robots. The ASML CEO, Christophe Fouquet, has previously confirmed discussions with Musk regarding this, suggesting Terafab could become a significant future customer for ASML's lithography equipment. Now, Musk has indicated that Terafab will work with Intel and initially focus on this rapid chip prototyping in Texas before potentially scaling into a much larger manufacturing position and operation, with that ASML up on the day, almost 8%.
Neil, see where ASML is at, man? You have a look? There goes ASML through 1800. We're on the way, baby. We're on the way, Joey Opsh. We could see $2,000 pretty soon. Let's not get too excited. I can't help but get too excited. But ASML, second largest position after Apple in my portfolio. It's come close many times, and I'm assuming if I look now, it will be a lot closer to becoming equal with Apple in terms of size. So ASML, man, I really want to say this, though, because I pound the table all the time about ASML, but the fact of the matter is this company is the most ripe for disruption than any of the other companies. If the Chinese can make an extreme ultraviolet lithography machine, and rumors say that they were able to, but they're not able to make it in scale through Huawei and some other partners, SMIC specifically, not SMCI, it's a different company called SMIC, then I think it will be insanely disruptible. And you might see a 50% correction in like one day on this name. So long as they remain the dominant force and nobody else has extreme ultraviolet lithography, because we know a lot of other companies have deep ultraviolet, they don't have extreme. And by the way, ASML is coming up with an even newer technology other than extreme ultraviolet. So perhaps maybe they stay at the cutting edge. But I'm happy with this trade. I think it's fantastic. I think Elon is going there to court them because he knows Terafab is nothing without those huge machines. So let's see how many buys.
Yeah, that's where they have the stranglehold, right? Like they just have the ability to, or I mean, they have the tool that no one has really. And if we talk about applied materials, it's not even the ultraviolet, it's just everything that goes along with all the widgets. So, I mean, listen, this pick is absolutely fantastic. Can they be disrupted? Absolutely. But what they have right now is a good thing going for them, is that it's hard to replicate and no one really has their technology. So that's why you see the stock performing like it has been. And same thing with applied materials, right? Like, let's not beat around the bush. Sharif, you and I both watched that segment on Bloomberg when it just shows you about the whole cycle of how this is created. You have applied materials and ASML literally in the picks and shovels of this stuff. Not quite, but relatively close in the supply chain. That's why look at applied materials, $542. Whoever in the chat was asking me about this the other day, well, congratulations as you put in a new all-time high and 259% from September of last year. This is a steady up and to the right. We're talking about this AI build-out. ASML, AMAT, they're right at the forefront.
All right. The chat request, Joey, they get.
What did
right?
they request?
So we're going to put a poll right now. Shout out to my man, codenamed Ed, for dropping 2 in the chat. We thank him for that. We're going to pull up a poll. So the very talented Fabian made this program right here. It's called the Streaming Voting Game. So we're going to make a custom poll. Poll time. Does Trump close the deal today? I know where this is going to go. All right. So the question is, does Prez Trump close deal today? Put Iran. Okay? Yes. No.
Bro.
Okay? Simple?
Yeah, but it should be hell no.
Okay, just for you, Joey.
Yeah.
Can I put hell yes?
Yeah, no? Yeah.
Okay, we'll just leave it like this. And go. If you want vote, If we get the deal done today, you're hitting 1. I know where this is gonna go already. If we're gonna get hell no, hit 2. I know where this is gonna go. Let's go. Let's get the voting going, baby. We need at least like a few thousand votes here, Joey, because it's already 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we gotta send it to the big boys.
Let me put it to you this way.
See ya, you can't vote more than 1.
Listen.
See ya. Go ahead, Joey.
Oh, I
Exactly.
thought that
You
was
can vote
thing
as
of
many
you.
times as
Yeah, I
you
was
want.
gonna say,
The
Democracy.
integrity of the poll is questionable if you can vote more than once. Yes, Neil, it's like voting at the polls more than once. Yes,
as many
it can
times
get.
as you want.
Oh, he said it only gets counted once.
can vote
Maybe
as
it
many
said
times
it
as you
only
want.
gets
Tell me what to
counted
do.
once. All right.
I have an equal chance.
look at where we are.
Yeah, I have an equal chance of hitting my UFC parlay this weekend as Donald Trump does is getting
Look
deal
at
done.
what Neil and C are doing. I'm gonna vote 1 just to spite all of you guys right there. Let's go. It didn't even register.
You got
Well,
yeah, it
okay.
did, man. It went
did?
from 8 to 9.
Oh, it did. Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, man. It is 2:01.
Yeah.
You want to send him off, Joey?
Yeah, I'm just glad the boys are back on time. It's great. We're happy
my
about that one.
days. Oh,
I'm
my
curious
days.
what they had for lunch, and hopefully it was a good one. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy, everybody.
Right, before we head on to the guys, just coming from sources that, and 12 reporters saying that Iran denies the existence of such an agreement. Israel says no such agreement exists, while at the same time, U.S. President Donald Trump saying, sorry, oh my God, my page is refreshing. U.S. President Donald Trump saying reporter Caitlin Dornbot, Iran agreement is pretty much all wrapped up after Tehran submitted a finalized MOU to Qatari mediators last night. But Iran and Israel are denying the existence of such an agreement. This is coming in from multiple sources at the moment.